All right, what is going on, guys? It is time for another episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast. And do we have an episode for you guys today? This was with the help of David Pearson and Kyle McCoy of the American Rally Originals. The idea kind of stemmed from then. I was like, yeah, we need to do that. So if you guys read the description, you've been listening or watching and following along on the social medias, you got an idea of what's going on. But if not, and this is news for you, we've got a good episode this time around. And what it is, you may ask? Well, we are going to attempt the perfect podcast episode. We are going to try and get all 10 Americans that are going to be participating in the 2023 Dakar Rally on one episode. So let's see if we can do it. It'll be a little bit of a challenge, but we've already got a few people queued up and ready to go. So I'm absolutely looking forward to that. Dakar Rally, don't forget, coming up in January, not too far away. We're also approaching Rally Month. Right now in August, Kota Rally just closed up. September is going to be the rally dates for those guys. And then in October, you've got Baja Rally and then Sonora Rally as well. So stay tuned for more information on that. But in the meantime, let's get to the episode. We have got David Pearson and Kyle McCoy on the line now. Let's turn the party down here. Gentlemen, are you guys there?
We're here.
Nice. David? Kyle?
You got me.
Nice. Well, welcome. Welcome. And first off, congratulations before we go any further.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. So, David, we'll start with you. Let's talk about this announcement. What was, when did it come through? When did you get your, I'm going to Dakar?
Came across the board for me about 6:30 on Friday morning. It was, we'd all been kind of waiting for it to happen, and it just kept not happening. It kept not happening. And then at 6:30 it happened. It was like a huge release. It was amazing.
Nice. What about you, Kyle?
Yeah, same time. And, they sent them out all sort of at the exact same time. And I would say the significance of it, having done it once before, is that there was a bit of a delay this year relative to years past. And I'm not exactly sure of the rationale for that yet, but I think it's because they've reduced the number of riders. There's a lot of speculation around this right now. Mm-hmm. And they were having a challenging time deciding who was in, because certainly the demand is there, but they've reduced the number of riders.
Nice. Well, and they've made some changes too going into this year. Longer stages, or more stages, I should say. And then, if I'm not mistaken, now we're going to go more with the standardized prologue instead of stage 1A, 1B kind of deal.
That's right. Yeah. So prologue, and then 14 stages as opposed to 12. And looking back at the history, the last time it was that many stages was 2009. So they're definitely taking it, ratcheting up the competition and the distance.
Yeah, I read, and the crazy thing for me was that they were going to have almost like 70% all new special stages, and every special stage was going to run around 450 kilometers, which meant the liaison sections are going to be a lot shorter. Ultimately, I don't know if you're going to ride a lot different. You're going to ride a lot less, but you're going to ride a lot more race miles as compared to liaison miles.
That's so longer, even longer days. And not only, well, wait, but not even that. What's the other, I don't know, maybe you guys will be the source of truth on this. And now also about the A-B routes, where they were talking about mixing up the routes for the riders as well.
Yeah, the reality is there's confusion, a little bit of confusion on this right now. But my read of it, and I'll let David answer, is that the course, each day's course will be the same, but waypoints will vary between two different riders. Is that your understanding, David?
David?
We might have lost him there temporarily, but that's the Yeah, exactly. That's the challenge right now is that, when we talk to some of the other writers, Ricky might know, but my understanding is that there are 2 different road books. That part is certain. The question is, and I don't see how they could change the route for 2 different riders. So the question is it just the waypoints that vary slightly? And I believe that's the answer.
Okay, gotcha. So they'll kind of, it makes sense, right? The WPMs won't be in the same spot necessarily for each rider. My vision was when they get into, like, say, a canyon or a dune or something of significance that, some people are going to take the north side of it and some people are going to take the south side of it, or something along those lines, I guess.
They said that they're going to have A and B routes that will be assigned randomly, and how they really manage that is going to be an interesting challenge. I've thought about it a number of ways. Part of me thinks it's only going to be in true OP-HP sections, but it'll be interesting to see how they run that. It'll be good questions for Ricky and Skyler. I think of the 10 of us that are going, two or three are pro riders. Is Jacob on the pro ticket?
I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at it. I think he... Obviously privateer. Yeah, I believe he's on the Dust team as well with Ace, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I know we're going to attempt this feat of getting all 10 Americans on this podcast tonight, and I'm excited. And part of me's like, well, Mason, like, is he a pro guy or is he a privateer guy? It'll be interesting. Maybe that's a good question for him.
Yeah. All right, I'm messaging one of our guests. I'm not giving away the whole guest list. All right. But if you guys have been paying attention, for those playing the home game would know who the 10 Americans are. Cool. All right. So the next guest is lined up and waiting for us. But, okay, so the acceptance letters went out and everything. Let's talk about you guys and the focus. Like now is this the home stretch, or is there another, like, we still got to make it to this point and then we're on the home stretch?
I would say, maybe I'll jump in, David. I'd say, this is the home stretch. We started very early. I basically started chatting with these guys shortly after finishing in 2020 in the supported class. And we've been working on it for, I don't know, a year and a half now. So it's gone by pretty fast and a lot of work's gone into it. Now we're on the home stretch. Are we there yet? Definitely not. But we're making final preparations.
Nice.
Yeah. It's funny how things they slow, and, and life sometimes is slow. Then it's fast. Then it goes slow. And so we've had a few gyrations like that. And clearly after Friday, things are starting to move fast again,
Mm-hmm. What are the, and now that things are moving and kind of pushing towards that, what, like bikes and preparation and what, are there like physical things that are already set in motion? Like, the bikes are already ready over there, or where are we?
To speak for the American Rally Originals, which I remind us is
internet break.
Might have lost him shortly. I'll finish what he was going to say because I know it well. There are 5 of us. There are 5 of us in the American Rally Originals class, which is that's just a team name we came up with. With the notion we're the original. David, I'm just filling in there because we lost you temporarily. We're the original. The first attempts at finishing in the Malimoto, now called the Original by Motul class. So the 5 of us, we are definitely, on the final stretch here. But we have bikes we're renting through Bass Dakar, and that's how we're going with the bikes.
Nice. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys hear me. I kind of moved to hopefully a better spot.
Okay. Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Because Bass Dakar is those guys have been awesome. Bart's been amazing, and they've really stepped up. And I think we have a few other people that you might know under that banner as well. And I caught wind, Kyle, that there's a lady in the Maui Moto class that's going to be riding under the Bass Dakar equation as well. So it should be quite the tent.
Nice. That's going to be a good how many riders can Bart have on that team? Do you guys know? Okay.
He tends to have 10-ish to 12 max. Mm-hmm. We're a bit unique in that he supports administratively. He supports the Maui Moto group of us 5. Mm-hmm. And then I think this year he's got another pretty stacked deck of full support folks, including some, one of those we will call later on. Mm-hmm. So I think this year he's got like 13.
Nice. That's going to be a busy day.
And he might as well be flying the American flag this next year for what it's worth. I'm not sure how the Dutch and the Frenchmen and everybody else are going to deal with him, because he's certainly got a lot of Americans to play with this year.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's working, right? The ultimate goal. And the thing is that the awareness of Dakar and what you guys have been doing to get more people into the sport, is showing, and the participation and more Americans going. I mean, it's growing. You can't deny it.
No, it's amazing when you look at the stats. Like last year alone, there were 7 Americans in the race, which was the most Americans ever. Mm-hmm. And so we're coming to the table with 10 this year, already increasing that. Like of the 400 competitors last year alone, 170 of them were from France. Yeah. So another 60 were.
Nope. Internet break?
Yeah, but I think he was pointing to the fact that Europeans have dominated historically in terms of attendance at the event, and it's definitely shifting, to your point, Victor, to Americans. And but when David says 10, that is bikes only, which is far and away the most in a bike category in one year. That doesn't count the side-by-side or car drivers, which I suspect will put us up to close to 15, 16, 17.
Nice, which is good. I mean, that's what we want to see. Is that growth, and actually, I mean, in this before we go further too, and we've talked a lot about it on the show since it happened, but that training that you guys did down in San Quintin with Baja Rally and all that stuff was absolutely awesome. I think you guys did some good job. I have videos still that haven't been released of that, of you guys talking with the guys and gals and helping them get into it. So I think that was really big. You guys.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah. We're trying to get more in the sport. That's the goal. And I think I know it's working, as evidenced by today and the fact that we're going to talk to 10 folks on bikes in Dakar.
Yes.
If you still got me, I just looked at how many people signed up for the Kota Rally this year, and we got a lot of new people that are coming into the sport. It's really exciting to see.
Nice. Yeah. And dude, I mean, I've seen, so Mike putting that event together. I mean, he's like, talk about stuff paving the way, right? You've got more people getting into the rally raid sport here stateside. And then on top of that, now you have an event that's fully permitted, like was able to get everybody in the government, that normally local government that shuts these events down in a heartbeat, to work with him and get this thing going. So I'm excited. I'm seeing the entry list and the posts that he's been putting out and doing. And yeah, that's good. I'm sad that I won't be able to make it, but it's definitely on the list for next year.
Let's call some boys. Let's call some people.
All right, let's do that. All right, let's see if we can. Let's get our first guy on, because I made contact with him. I said, I will get you in right away, because I know he's kind of busy.
Yeah. So I believe we said this, but of the 10 racers, we're not sure if there are 2 or 3 factory pros, and the rest of us are on the privateer program.
Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, you have to be pro to get there. I mean, privateer is just a title. That's like, some of these job positions that you get into, you have no management title, but you are absolutely a manager. And So all of you guys going in my book are all pros. It does not, you won't have the massage tent, but
yeah, I think Victor's right that the way that Dakar and FIM is the organization that runs all of these races, which is a European organization. They think of it as, they categorize it into Rally GP now and Rally 2. Mm-hmm. To David's question, the answer is it's Skyler and Ricky are Rally GP. Everybody else is Rally 2. But certainly, there are folks up there that should be in Rally GP or could be in the long run.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm saying first link has been deployed, and we're waiting for him to log on. Some of you guys may know him, for those playing the home game. He rides a red bike really, really fast.
He does.
He's
passed me more than once.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like anything else. Anytime I talk about these guys, and you guys included, if we were only allowed to go to second gear, you guys would still beat me to the finish line. So we're trying. Let's see if we can get him on here in just a second. But the link has gone out, and it is on its way to none other than Ricky Brabec, riding for the HRC Rally team. So we'll be talking to him here in just a moment, as long as we get him here logged in. Let's see who's in. Look at that. These links get kind of fancy. I can see the time that I sent them the link. Oh, looks like David disappeared. He must have been moving some papers or something. Disconnected himself. Kyle, are you still with us?
I'm still here.
Sweet. Yeah, so let's see. There he is. Mr. Brabec. You hear him? Ricky, you there? Uh-oh. I have a feeling he's some top secret location.
I see he's connected too.
Yeah. I wonder, well, we'll see. We'll see if it clears up here. It might be just an internet thing. But yeah, this is how many Americans are going now to the event and how it's been growing. And what Ricky has been able to accomplish. Schooled these guys, and now with Honda's dominance on these last two events, I think that is absolutely huge. And I know that they're working. They're not going to rest on their laurels, because I'm sure that KTM wants it back. Let me see here. We've got another one of our guests here sending us a message, but we'll wait here.
Yeah, and maybe while he's connecting, I'll chat a little bit about Ricky. So, yeah, because he won't brag about himself, but I'll brag for him. So, I'm sort of become the unofficial historian of the Dakar Rally, not because I have any skill whatsoever. It's actually the opposite. I have no skill at riding, so I'm therefore the historian. And Ricky will, if he finishes this next Dakar, he will be the American with the most Dakar finishes, period. And that's pretty impressive, right? So currently, he and Andrew Short share that distinction with 4 finishes. Mm-hmm. If he finishes a 5th time, which odds are he will, obviously, then he'll hold that record. So that's really impressive. He's obviously the only one to ever win the Dakar Rally. And that was 2020, the year that I raced, so I was lucky enough to see him win the whole thing. So pretty impressive.
Oh, absolutely. And and the thing is, like, I've learned so much over the last years watching this. Oh, looks like David is back.
Are you guys somewhere? You kicked me out. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. Just waiting. Ricky was on, but I think there was an internet thing, because it kind of like cut out, but he did make it on. So he might be logging in again here in just a sec. If not, I'm going to have to try and figure out how to get it going. So let's see. So
yeah, and I was just given the history of the fact that Ricky will finish he's already tied for finishing the most Dakar rallies with the amazing Andrew Short, and if he finishes again, he'll be the record holder of most finishes for an American at Dakar.
And that's currently held by Andrew?
It's a tie between Andrew and Ricky. And the funny thing about those guys is they didn't even know that. I told them, I said, you realize that you two hold the distinction of finishing the most Dakars. Prior to that, there were multiple that had finished 3, but those two now have finished 4 times. So Ricky would be the first to finish 5 times.
I mean, that's not an easy feat at all.
It's not.
No, and you think about 45 years of history of the Dakar as well, and it just adds to that.
Yeah. I mean, and then not only that, I mean, now talking in this case, right now, moving from South America, going over to Saudi Arabia. But I think they're going to be in Saudi Arabia now for 10 years. I think did I hear that right?
Well, I haven't heard that.
I hadn't heard that either. I know that starting in 2020, they purchased the rights for 5 years. So that would imply that, they have 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. So they have this next year and the one following, and that's it. They paid a lot of money for that. But I hadn't heard that it's 10.
Okay. So yeah. So no, then it was the 5. I knew it was somewhere in there, some multiple of 5 or 10. But I mean, that's huge. I mean, the amount of money that they've had to put out for the event to get the event there. I don't know if that was the same plan that they had in South America. Obviously the terrain's a little bit different. I don't know if they would have preferred South America over the sands. Oh, looks like we got him back. Ricky, you back?
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Hey, Ricky. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's going on, guys?
Now we're talking Dakar.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Right? So, I mean, this is huge news, right? You got all the acceptance letter, everything went out, and you're getting ready?
Yeah, currently right now we're doing some durability with HRC. And then after this, we're going to start doing some road books and getting ready for Morocco and Andalusia.
Nice. I know, right? They just moved that. Actually, that was bad. How did that go for you? You guys were already there, no?
Yeah, we were there doing, like a week of road books on that style terrain. And dude, right when I landed, they kind of said it might be canceled. And then we went one day riding, and then the next morning we got word that it canceled. And yeah, it was kind of, at the beginning it was like, oh man, what a waste of a trip. But we did 5 days of road books. So it was actually good training in the end.
Nice. There you guys. So I was thinking the whole day, I'm like, dude, I might get a chance to talk to Ricky Brabec today. Like, what questions did I answer? And one of the biggest things that I was thinking is like, for you in the training and going back to Dakar, what's your training like? Obviously you've taken that top step, and the number 2 step, you're no stranger to the podium now. So what is your kind of training, like road book practice and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, with the training, you could do a bunch of training, but in the end, if it's not quality and it's not Dakar spec, then I would say you're kind of wasting your time, because nowadays the road books are so tricky with all these notes and triple notes, and you have to do quality over quantity. And before I was doing quantity with a little bit of quality, and then I started to clean it up and do quality over quantity. And now our program is it's pretty much there, but there's still a little bit of tweaking we have to do, and the rules are always changing. So with that being said, we got to just figure out different ways to train. And the biggest thing is finding new areas to train. I've ridden every single trail multiple times out here, so it's like if I get a new road book, it's it's new to me, but I know the area so well that it's not much help.
Yeah, we're going down this road now. So I mean, with on that is what, with getting into it, practicing and doing this stuff. My other question that I had for you was the new guys, right? Obviously there's more Americans headed to Dakar. The sport of rally is growing here stateside. Are there any things like a bit of knowledge, like this is how you get into it or how you got into it, like any kind of tips that you would give to somebody?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. Skyler, I guess, would be the one to ask this question, just because I I got into it, while I was injured. I was laid up on the couch with a broken neck, and then that's when I got the call asking, if I still wanted to ride dirt bikes and race dirt bikes and what I thought about rally. So that's how I got into it. Okay. Skyler, went a different route and, paid his way into it for a few years. I'm not sure how he was able to do that. It's not cheap to go there. So Skyler has a better understanding than I do with that.
Yeah. Oh, we'll pick his brain about that one. So now that at least the first hurdle is done, are there any things like in between now and the start of the race that's the next hurdle, or are you guys stepping up the program, like more training intervals going up? What's that look like the next few months?
Yeah, like I said, it's quality over quantity. So we're definitely stepping up training. As I said, the rules are always changing. So now we're just trying to figure those rules out. And, with the time you're given back for opening or, being in the group, it's kind of difficult. I think the Dakar is going to be a wild show this year with all that. But as far as I know, I don't know much, honestly. I have to wait to go train with the team, and we sit down and discuss a few things, a few options of how, what, when, and where. It's tough. It's not loading your dirt bike up and just riding trails or going to the motocross track. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's got to be a very strategic. Well, I mean, in any road book is complicated. It's just they only get tougher. They're not going to make it easier on you guys.
Exactly.
And so, and actually speaking about rules, right? So now they're kind of changing some stuff on you guys. First, I'm happy to see you guys aren't racing 250cc dirt bikes out there.
Not yet.
Yeah, I know, right? Yet.
Maybe 2024.
I know, right? Yeah.
And by that time they'll be able to do like 180 mile an hour. So
no,
yeah,
they'll
float.
Yeah, they're gonna make them California green sticker compliant.
Yeah, exactly.
or one of those versions of it. But so with the rule change, like you mentioned, one, like, getting time back, and I think they're trying to avoid that swing set that's been going on, that Dakar swing, that, and then alternate routes, alternating routes between riders, randomly assigning them and that kind of stuff. Are there any rules for you that they're like, okay, this is the most significant change?
I mean, the divided road book or whatever, the different road book and like the HP areas is kind of, I don't think it's very smart, because how can they tell if, line A is faster or slower than line B? What if line A has bigger dunes or more holes than line B? And, there's a big difference in the sand dunes if you have big dunes or small dunettes, because in the dunettes, you're going to lose a lot of time. And in the big dunes, you're going to gas it, jump the dunes, and, just go fast. Mm-hmm. And then with the speed given back, I don't know, man, it's going to be wild. They restricted our speed limiter to 160 km/h, and then now you get time back for opening. So now it's basically going to be a fight of who can get top 5.
No, just to make sure that
pending the amount of time that they assign you, right? I mean, they haven't really established what the time is that they're going to give you. I haven't heard that of you.
We have like a rough draft of it, but I mean, it's really hard to understand it, because it's not like, it's not like 1 second or 5 seconds or a minute or 3 minutes. It's like, it depends on how much you're actually opening into each of these hidden waypoints, from what I understand. It's kind of strange, honestly. I don't know. I mean,
it sounds complicated.
I understand, like, they're trying to stop that, the rubber band effect. But then again, it's like, if you make a road book that's not, super confusing, then this would also help. I mean, mm-hmm. If they made it make more sense, for dirt bike riders, then I guess it would be okay without the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's going to be like, I mean, I understand like the strategy of it and that rubber band effect, as you call it. And it works. It plays into it. It's part of being smart at rally. But yeah, what they're proposing sounds more overly complicated. And I mean, I think they could almost pause that rule and just stick with the like AB route or something along those lines. But you do bring up a good point about the AB route. Like if I take the A line or you're on the A line, I'm on the B line, or somebody's on the B line, this section may be faster for you, but then how do they know, like, did they make another section purposely faster for them? So then your time is actually comparable, or, you know, I'd be really curious to see how they're going to average that out, because I remember getting at one event into hot water because the overall was decided, but certain classes, the UTVs namely, had a workaround for one of the narrow canyons. And so it was like, well, no, they technically did not compete on the same course. And I mean, it was like 100 meters difference, not even 100 meters. It was like 10 meters difference. You could see one another. One was on the top, one was on the bottom. But there was a very valid point. It's like, no, that's technically, it is not the same course.
Yeah. This is what I don't understand, is because, like I said, what if you have one course, 100 meters difference, you know, apart, and what if you're going through the big dunes and, you know, the other route is going through the small dunes that's a lot more physical, and then all of a sudden, like if you're in the physical dunes and then you catch, you know, the main line again, and then now you're behind one or two guys, and then you go to a fast piece that's dusty, so then now you kind of get screwed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you end up in the dust where you would have been maybe even leading, or you would have had other opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for those playing the home game, 160 kilometers an hour is only 100. I mean, I say only, but
yeah,
it's still fast. But I mean, for the rally bike dorks, what if you can disclose a range of about how fast one of these bikes would go on a dry lake bed?
I mean, depends, empty or full. I would guess around 115, 118.
And how would you compare that to a bike for Baja?
I don't know.
Okay.
The Baja bikes are a lot quicker, you know, out of the hole. You know, they're a lot lighter, a lot more, power quickly.
Mm-hmm. Or
Or the rally bike, you know, obviously it's made for, endurance and multiple days at a time. So there's a little bit of difference. The Baja bikes, you know, I'm hearing they're doing like 105, 104. But honestly, dude, I don't care how fast your bike is, dude. You're not ever going that fast for very long. So it doesn't matter if your bike does 115 or 100, you know, you're never going to be doing 115 for miles on end.
Yeah. So it's just more the way the bike works for you and handles and does that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I know you get stuff going on, but my last question to you is maybe a quick comparison, the CRF 450 that you would use in Baja or high desert versus the rally bike. What's the biggest difference for you?
I mean, the weight, the weight, when I ride my small bike, like my enduro bike is like, it's like riding a e-bike. And then if you ride a motocross bike, it's like riding a freaking mountain bike. So, the rally bike's a big tank, it plows through all the bumps and, it stays straight. Then you get on a smaller bike, that thing's all over the place, jumping around. It's quite a handful riding the small bikes.
Yeah. So if you have both of them in the garage ready to go, which one do you throw a leg over first?
Depends on what I'm doing. But, mostly, if it's from my house, I'm going to ride my 450X, so I can go ride enduro. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm going to go, explore and waste a couple hours of my day on a dirt bike, I'll take the rally bike because I can hold, a bunch of fuel and not worry about stopping.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how. And then are they regulating? Yeah, they have a capacity limitation, right, or minimum?
Yeah, they have a capacity limit.
Yeah. Nice. Well, hopefully, like I say, hopefully they don't knock you guys down to 2 strokes and start doing even more funny stuff. I'm glad they did away with the tire thing. I think that to a certain extent.
The tire thing was pretty wild, because we were only able to have like, one tire for 2 days basically. Mm-hmm. But, it I don't know if it slowed people down, but it definitely made people more aware of like what their equipment could handle and what the equipment could do.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously a ball tire is not going to stop as good as a tire with grip.
Yeah.
But also if you hit a rock hard enough, and you slice your tire, then, say you slice the tire on day one, now you're down to just 5 tires for the rest of the rally. And, you have to be smart. You have to be smarter to ride, like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, also one set of tires a day is pretty tough because if you blow out a wheel or blow out a moose, you can't change it.
Mm-hmm. And then you're stuck doing some. I mean, then basically it turned every stage into the
marathon.
The marathon stage, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's literally.
I was okay with it because I don't, the way I ride, I don't spin the tires, so I don't really smoke off the knobs, and I was able to go comfortably 2 days with one tire.
Nice. And that, I mean,
hey Ricky.
What's going on?
Sorry, Ricky, it's McCoy. It's Kyle McCoy. One last question for you here, and we'll let you go, which is, and first of all, by the way, I was informing the audience before you dialed in that I think you're aware of this, but maybe not. Ricky and Andrew are Andrew Short, that is, they have the most finishes for any American at Dakar. If Ricky finishes next year, he will then hold that distinction, which is super impressive. Also the only one to ever win. But my question is, do you know how many bikes will be in Dakar 2023 yet? Have you gotten any indication of that?
Yeah, that's super cool. Like me and Andrew are tied for finishes. Hopefully I can keep the streak of finishing going, just to be, the most finishing American. But as far as, the entry of bikes, dude, I'm not sure. I would say minimum 150.
See, this is what we're asking. We're asking around this, Ricky, because our understanding is they reduced it a lot. And as you and I know, in 2020, when you won, it was 150. I think, and I'm hearing it's closer to 100 now. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what Bart at Bass Dakar told us. And so think about that for a second. You've got 100 bikes instead of 150, and you've got 2 different routes. All of a sudden, you've got 50 as opposed on your route, as opposed to 150 on the route you did first stage 2020 when you won. That's a huge difference in a race, right? So you've got way less dust. And I think it's going to be interesting to see. My most important question remaining is how many bikes are entered in 2023 Dakar? So if you hear, let us know.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that they're trying to limit the bikes. But yeah, no, that's, I'm definitely curious of that because that's strange. Like the bike is the category to watch.
Yeah,
exactly.
I heard they cut down to 120 and they cut the applicant registration date off quickly, and then they kept us all in suspense till Friday. So rumor has it's less. I'm not sure. We just know the number,
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I'm curious as well. I mean, wonder why they did that.
Yeah, don't know.
All right, here comes the scavenger hunt. Let's figure out how many bikes actually got into Dakar for 23. Because I mean, it could be a game changer. Less tracks, less beating up the course. I mean, obviously, resources and stuff like that are more plentiful. But yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Ricky, David here. I look forward to seeing you out there for sure. So we're all excited. This will be a first time for me. So I'm just banging up the anxiety rev limiter right now.
I think we had an internet break for Ricky. He jumped, it disconnected on him.
Cool. So, let's keep rolling, or we're going to be here all night.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Watch. He'll jump back in, and then he'll be listening, or he'll be with us with the next guy. I think we can take up to 5 people on here. So we're at 3, so we could do this. All right. Let's send that one over to the next guy. Next guy, no stranger to Dakar. He's back at it again. Originally was out there with Skyler Howes, with Garrett Boucher. Ricky, you there? Ricky, jump back on.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what happened.
Nah, no worries. Internet break.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, dude, I appreciate the time, and that's David was saying the same thing. We're, appreciating you taking the time out of your busy schedule to jump in with us.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate the phone call and the questions. I'm looking forward to hearing what the others have to say, and hopefully we can all stay in touch and get some riding in, guys.
That would
we look forward to it.
Any smack talk? Any smack talk for Skyler before you go?
Easy, guys, easy. He's on the line, all right?
No, I mean he's a Husky KTM gas guy. I don't really know what's going on over there other than them trying to cop our spots out here in the Mojave Desert.
Bro, you don't own the desert.
You guys can have Barstow.
I'm not a fan of Barstow either. But
oh, dude, it's unbelievable right now with the rainstorms I just went through. Holy shit!
It's hero dirt, but now it's washed
hero
over.
Dirt,
Yeah.
No, it's full of rocks, dude. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, not good. I don't know how a rally bike would fare on that. Well, I guess it would do all right, right?
Oh, they're great till you hit the wrong one.
Our bike does great.
Oh. Now. Oh,
no comment.
Wow. How you doing, Skyler?
Yeah, doing right.
Skyler, welcome.
Thanks.
Nice. Hey, who else? Who do you got? Did Kyle jump off, or is he still on it? Kyle, you still here?
No, I'm here. I think we should let Ricky go, though. We've taken a lot of his time. We appreciate your time, Ricky, so you can drop whenever you want, man. And we look forward to riding with you and Skyler at some point, and definitely, obviously, in Saudi in January.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me. We'll see you all soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Ricky. Thank you.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Later, bud.
All right. Skyler, how's it going, man?
Yo, what's up?
I was just saying, I'm like, watch, Ricky's going to jump right on as soon as Skyler gets on. But I was saying, so, we talked dozens of episodes ago, and I was kind of leading up to it that, yeah, you originally were out there with Garrett, but there's been some changes since then.
Yeah, a lot of changes since then.
Yeah. The factory ride, which, looks, I like Honda. I mean, Ricky's off now, but I like Honda, but there's a KTM and a Husky in the garage, So what's going on? So you got the letter, you're ready. I mean, is go time. Are you stepping up the training? What's going on?
Well, I mean, training for Dakar starts long ago. So I've been working with a new personal trainer, which has actually been super nice. So before, up until now, it's actually one of my biggest things is trying to switch the brain from, kind of on a budget to taking more care of my body and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, the training has always kind of taken a back seat just because I had to work and make it to the race in the first place. Mm-hmm. So that's been the biggest change for me is trying to change the brain to not focus on cleaning the house, cleaning the garage, doing all that kind of stuff, making sure everything's prepped and ready and, focus more on the gym and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I've been working with this personal trainer. His name's Nick Chase. He's one of the best triathletes in the nation. And he lives here locally in St. George. So I've been working with him quite a lot and stepping up the training a bit. And it's made me, enjoy a lot more of the stuff too, because before it was a bit stressful leading into the race, knowing that I probably could have done better. And I mean, that's always my mentality that's another one of those things that I'm trying to work on is understanding that I'm doing enough. Yeah. Constantly I'm not, working hard enough. And I learned that lesson a couple of days ago. I spent too much time in the sauna, wipe me out. So, but I've been doing the training has been pretty intense. So I've been doing a lot of riding, less road books, but more just high intensity riding, lots of cycling and gym work and stuff. So yeah, it's been pretty intense.
Yeah. What is, and that's an interesting side. I haven't, usually it's, the training revolves around the road books and reading road books, road book. But with the physical aspect and what you're talking about, are there certain things that like you guys are focusing on? Is it like long-term endurance? Is it short burst efforts? It's all of it?
Yeah, kind of all of it. My biggest thing is I've always done long distance desert racing. Mm-hmm. So where I need to improve and where most of the other guys besides Ricky comes from is motocross background. So a lot of those guys have like this insane sprint pace in, certain areas like the dunes and things like that. And that's essentially like I could hold my one pace all day, but to be able to wick it up and just put 100% everything you got for 30 minutes into a dune section or whatever else, that's kind of where my weakest point was in the last couple of years. So that's where I put a ton of more of my focus is doing like interval training on the cycle and do like more motocross stuff. So yeah, I guess it all just depends on the person. Like for me, long days on the bike is where I enjoy most of my time, but it's those short, like super, super gnarly, powerful sprints that you got to just put in the middle of the day that I've tried to improve on. So we're making good improvement, and I'm enjoying a lot more of my time. Like this last Dakar was a huge improvement just for the fact of like being more physically prepared rather than, the other stuff. So yeah, it's been a big jump.
Being able to focus on it. And I mean, and if you guys, or if you can talk a little bit about it, the bike, it was a big change for this last Dakar going with the bike. I know you guys had one rally prior for testing and that stuff. The bike development from last Dakar to this Dakar, are you guys a lot of big changes? I mean, is it pretty much the same? What you can disclose?
Yeah, well, of course, it's kind of been one of the coolest things about moving to a factory team is seeing behind the scenes, like what actually goes into making a bike what it is. And when I first joined the team, we were still on, the older model, and essentially was like at the end of its run. So it was kind of figured out. And then to go straight into a bike that really, is brand new, essentially, and to make it work in the desert and what everything, goes into it. Just stuff that I had no idea. Like when you think about, triple clamps and, foot pegs or handlebars or just any of that kind of stuff, you always think of something that might just, I don't know, is kind of like a bolt-on thing, or, you talk about, this triple clamp makes a difference, but I didn't really know if I would be a good test rider. And so when they put something on that's like, this might flex differently, and you have to tell us whether it's better or worse. I'm like, I was pretty nervous actually, because I didn't know if I would be good at being able to tell the difference, because I never have before. Before I'd just get on the bike and ride whatever I got. Mm-hmm. So it's been a super, super cool experience to be a part of that and to go through it's a pretty painstaking process. Like it's a lot to go through, and I don't know, it's not a disheartening thing, but I mean, being a factory racer definitely isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Like there's a lot of work that goes into it. I definitely traded like one hard work for the next. Like, I don't have to go clock in at a day job now, but when it's time to test and time to train, like it's all out, and there's so much, it's so, I don't know, sensitive, and there's so much that goes into it that's just mind blowing to me that I never really thought. I thought the bike just was there and it worked. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize like how much actually goes into doing it. So yeah, we had Morocco beforehand, and we had done a bit of testing. I mean, a lot of testing going into Morocco. And we thought we had like a pretty good understanding. And when we raced Morocco and got kind of in that different, I don't know, scenario out there, we realized, where we were at, and we needed to make some more changes. And that was the other super cool part of being a part of, the company, being a part of Husqvarna, is seeing how dedicated everyone is to make those changes. And I went straight back from there, straight to Austria, and had some meetings and put in my suggestions of what I thought would be best. And they made those changes and suggestions, and I got to go out and test, and we came straight back here to America and put it to work. And essentially that's what we raced on it at Dakar, and the bike won. Sam won on that bike, and Matthias third. So unreal. Like, it was super, super cool to see that even though that we were a bit off, that they're willing to put in that work. And it's not like a day job that these guys just clock into. Like, it's literally, this needs to be handled. However much time it takes at the company or out in the desert to accomplish that is what they're willing to do. It's super cool.
Gotcha. I mean, and that's what it takes to win. I mean, you got to out dedicate the other guy, and then they're going to do it the next time around. They're working harder. So I got two really quick ones for you. One, of the testing and the stuff that you guys have done and changes and all that, what became your, like, did you develop a niche? Like, you love suspension testing, or was it ergonomics? Was it braking? Was it engine? Was there something in particular, like, this is my jam?
Well, I mean, it all kind of goes hand in hand. Like, it's pretty crazy to think about flexing and just the whole ergonomics of the bike and what changes. But what I enjoy a lot is being able to relay that information. So with suspension specifically, like going out and realizing like, oh, this change needs to happen, and come back and be able to relay that. They make the change, go back out, and you're like, yeah, okay, now this is working. Like, this is sick. So I have enjoyed suspension testing specifically because it's the easiest for me to formulate a suggestion in my brain. Like, a lot of the other stuff, I don't really know which direction to go. We just have to try the stuff that we have available, and I can tell if it's better or worse. But with suspension, I know if it's doing this, I can tell them to change this, and it's going to make this, reaction. And it's been super cool to kind of develop my knowledge, I guess, to make those adjustments. And it's made me help out. Like, I've been trying to help out a handful of kids, like local kids and stuff, racing the National Hare and Hounds and whatnot. And so to be able to go out with them and help them better develop their bikes and all that, it's been actually a super cool process.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm a suspension nerd, even though I don't know about motorcycle suspension as much as I do cars, but I'm with you on that one. That's, you guys got to ride these bikes really, really, really fast for really, really long distances. So that's the first thing that's going to make it comfortable, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So my final question, I'll turn over to the guys, see if they got it, but new people coming into the sport. We've got 10 Americans headed to Dakar, and just watching the listenership and the questions coming in, there's a ton of people that want to get into this. What's your suggestion for new people getting into the rally raid side of things?
Well, I mean, stepping on other people's toes, and it's like kind of the people that have always been in the sport of rally. Like, I'm not going to name names, but these guys, like a handful of these people, have a really tight grip on road books and kind of hold a monopoly over it. Mm-hmm. And I think what I've been trying to change with that is, road books take a lot. They take a lot to make, and there's so much time to make a good road book. And see, that's the difference too, is like, okay, I could have a road book, but it could suck. Mm-hmm. You could spend more time out there doing circles than actually navigating. So that's the difference too. But if people are interested and want to get out there, it's to not, force them into some type of whatever it is and make them pay a bunch of money, because it's already super expensive as it is. You have to pay a bunch of money for the nav equipment, and then to actually do a rally or anything like that is a ton of money. It takes a lot of time and stuff. So I think now that so many more people are getting interested and wanting to do it, especially with like I'm actually pretty stoked about the electronic roadbook stuff, because I think that's going to make everyone's life a lot easier. They don't have to get like 9 different things to bolt on their handlebars. They can just put a switch and a tablet. So I think that'll be cool. People can invest in that setup. And then if people have road books to do, Scotty Bright's been doing an awesome job at making some stuff available. And myself and Mason, we've been doing our best on top of what we're already trying to do and everything to make just road books that are available. And I think that's the difference is if someone's interested in doing it kind of look out broader in the sport. And there's a lot of people that be really stoked to help everyone out depending on time. Mm-hmm. But, I think that's what's going to grow the sport the most around here is, I think just people wanting to help everyone else just for the fact of growing the sport and being, solid people rather than trying to make a profit or get something else out of it. I mean, this is a super small sport, even though it's the biggest event in the world. If you look at the Netherlands or France or any other country, there's hundreds of people from those specific countries that are racing in this race. And we got 10 Americans, which is the most ever. And the thing is, like I've said this before, is I believe that there's some really talented people that live here that could go there and just, do really, really well. It's the other thing with Dakar is, people think they're just going to show up and do well without training for it or having any experience, which always, is a rude wake-up call. But, I mean, the more training and the more stuff that's available in USA and the more people that are apt to, like, share their knowledge and not be, I don't know what the issue is, but I know I want to be great. I want to win. And yes, I want to be a champion, but I know I'm not going to be the last one. And I had to learn the hard way, essentially. And if I can make it possible for other people to not have to learn the same way I did and make a ton of mistakes and bad calls and stuff and just learn from my lessons and do things right the first way, like that's essentially what I think is all about. If we have more people and new people coming into the sport that can do well or just finish the race and check something off the bucket list, I think that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I can speak to that just as David here, as I keep getting cut in and out. But, I spent some time with Skyler and Mason in Utah doing some road books with you guys. And it was very helpful for me just educationally to understand some of the concepts coming out of the Dakar and some of that training. So appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you taking the call. So it's cool.
Yeah. And then Skyler, this is Kyle. And I'm just going to brag on Skyler for a minute because he is a humble guy. And I've had the opportunity to ride with him now in 2 different places in Mexico and Saudi Arabia and now also Abu Dhabi. And the reality is Skyler he's helping the sport. I think he spends more time with young people than anybody, and hands down. And he's just a solid person. And so I really appreciate that, Skyler, and your mentorship to people. And I have no doubt you'll continue to be successful. My one question for you, and this is what we're really wondering about, Skyler, and I know this will be the last question, is how many bikes do you think they entered this year in Dakar? Any idea?
Oh, dang. Well, all I know is 100 got accepted, and I saw a lot of rejection letters. And it's like, I bet you there was a ton. I bet you there was probably 200 people that signed up. And normally they choose 150. So they had to have turned away they had to turn away at least 100 people, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is what we're trying to get to the bottom of. Ricky was uncertain. And by the way, we're front loading this with the 2 factory, Ricky and Skyler, to get any insight you guys have. But there's a lot of uncertainty around this right now. My understanding is it's about 100, like what you're saying, but nobody knows with certainty. I asked Bart, at Bass Dakar, he's uncertain still, but it's fair to say that bikes numbers has been reduced significantly. And so that's going to make it really interesting this year going forward.
Yeah. So I hear the reason why that's happening is there's a handful of complaints that bikes are getting caught too quickly. And so what's happening is I think they're trying to slim it down and keep the list of riders that are in the race more experienced. And so that way there's less incidents with cars and there's less likeliness of people getting stuck out there in the dark. So that's, I think, the reason that I heard that they're limiting the numbers. And yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, I think it's crazy because they always fill up like 150 riders anyways. So the fact that they chopped it by 50 riders, and this is like one of the most like stacked years that I can remember. Like, there's a ton of people and a ton of really good people that are wanting to sign up. I think it's going to be super fun because, you know, we're getting longer days, more days, and I think it's going to be a more difficult year. So I'm pretty excited to see what happens throughout this. But I'm really stoked that, you know, everyone that here on this side that got entered got accepted, because to have this many Americans. And the thing is, too, I got to call you guys out. Even though he's Czech born, Angelo Volchek is an American citizen, and he's racing Malimoto. So he needs to be included on this list.
Okay. We're officially up to 11.
Wow. No. I need to correct that because I am the historian, and I fully agree with you. I'm the historian because I'm a terrible writer, by the way. I fully agree with you, Skyler. But the rule is, if you're going, and there's two, he's not the only one. There are actually two dual citizens. But if you're going to say you finished as an American, you need to ride under the American flag.
Yeah, he is this year. This year he's riding as an American.
Oh, this year. Totally agree. Yeah. Good point. Very good point. So there's actually 11. If he's riding, I thought you meant in the past, because in the past he didn't ride under the American flag.
Yeah, so, correct. No, yeah. But this year he's going to be on the American flag this year.
Nice.
Interesting. So there's actually 11. That's good to know. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Maybe we need like an Ocean's 12.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we need to get somebody in there quick. We need one more. We need to find that other guy.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of other Americans going, you guys, I know Skyler knows this kid for sure. Is Mason? Mason, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Nice. Welcome aboard.
Hello.
Yes, can you hear us?
Yeah. Hi,
right.
Team.
What's going on?
Hey, Mason.
All right. So
good. We getting ready to race?
It sounds like it.
We excited?
Yeah. I don't know. Skyler, are you ready?
I'm ready. I don't know. Mason's been like fishing and doing other stuff. I don't know if he's ready.
Hey, I have a secret weapon over here right now. All right. So
yeah, foreigners don't count, dude.
Ooh.
This is the American phone call.
Yo.
Wow.
Wait, did we just lose one? Did we lose one? Is that what we're saying?
No. He's training with, how do you say his name, Mason?
Harth Noah is his first name.
Harth. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. We've been calling him Noah.
All right. Noah.
How does he like our terrain?
I think he's having a lot of fun. He's actually riding with Carter Klein and Jake Alvarez, his brother, with Dalton Shirey, doing some good training. I'm not riding right now because I plan to get a lot of work done, meaning we're going to this Arizona ride this weekend, and I'm making sure everything's ready to roll.
Nice.
You going to Flagstaff?
Yeah.
I will see you there, Mason.
I'm excited.
Oh, I feel like I'm last to the party. Should I know about Flagstaff or not know about Flagstaff?
It's like Fight Club.
Okay, got it.
I was invited.
I will promise to put
else.
I
was invited by anyone else, and then it's like an official AMA thing, so it's kind of crazy that not everybody knows about it.
Yeah. Himself.
Yeah, to your point about rally getting more popular, this is an AMA sanctioned dual sport event where they've put together a couple of road books for us. So they're starting to recognize the general populace wants to see some of these things. So it's really cool to do.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice. Cool. All right. Before we eliminate any questions for Skyler, any more questions?
Maybe I'll just say one last point, which is, again, Skyler won't brag. I will for him. So Skyler, the data point people need to know about him is he finished the best finish for a non-factory rider in the history of Dakar Rally, certainly as an American. I don't know if that's the case for other countries, but in 2021, as a non-factory rider, he finished 5th place. So that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
And with the number 9, so the number 9 is an American number, because Chris Blaze raced with number 9 and got his podium. I raced with number 9 and got 5th, and now Mason is racing with number 9 this year. So we got high hopes.
You want to know a secret about that, Skyler?
What?
Awesome.
People are telling me I might not get number 9.
No, what's happening?
Well, apparently, if you go first and you get to pick your number, someone can pick it, right? So I don't know anyone that would take number 9 if they didn't get number 9, but like
it could happen.
I'm afraid to say I'm number 9 because it's possible that someone else takes it.
Ooh, well,
it's kind of scary.
If you don't get it, it's not the end of the world, but you know.
Yeah. We're going to start a hashtag Klein is 9 or something like that. You know, we'll figure it out.
That's a pretty good one.
It's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm 20. I'll be 21 then. Klein is 21. Would make more sense.
That doesn't rhyme.
It does. Yeah, it doesn't rhyme.
All right, I'll change my age for the hashtag.
All right, boys. I'm out of here.
All right, Skyler. Enjoy. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you later.
All right. See ya. All right, Mason.
What up?
Sorry. Ready?
Yep. I'm excited.
Here's my first big questions, David, just in case I get cut off as usual. How do you feel for the second round of the Dakar? Third.
I'm feeling better than ever because I don't know if I knew I was going to the race at this point of the year last year.
Nice.
I've had like way more time to prepare. My first Dakar, I was like, I'm going, but I didn't actually know. Kind of like everyone else in the American Rally Originals, I think is how you say it. Yeah. I'm blanking. Anyways, yeah, it's nice having a whole year to prepare than to have half a year or less.
Yeah, I can imagine a little bit of a crunch.
Yeah.
So you knew coming out of last year that you were going to be in this year? That was already a given for you?
Well, of course it's not a given for anyone, right? Everybody gets the acceptance letter. But, you know, when you got Bart on your team, it makes you pretty confident. He's a pretty good man.
Yes.
And, he obviously knows everyone you need to know. And, yeah, I was confident going into this year for sure.
Yeah, and for the audience, we keep referring to Bart, as Mason just did and I did earlier. This is Bart Van de Velden, who is Bas Dakar, BAS. It's a truck. It's a European truck company. And Bart, it's sort of the satellite factory team for KTM. And Mason, it's a good segue to Mason, which is Mason, for those that don't know, is the youngest rider in American history to finish as well, maybe even finish at all, but finish certainly as well as he did, which in 2022 was 9th place. As Mason, at the time, you were 19. Is that accurate?
No, I was 20.
20. Okay. Well, either way, he was young.
Yeah, definitely.
So super, super impressive. And I, again, back to Skyler. Skyler really helped out. I think Mason would say that that's the case. Skyler helped out a lot, and those two ride together and train together a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Skyler is a super big part of the whole program. Without him, I don't think I would have been lining up last year or this year, I guess.
Nice. So speaking of lining up this year, so last year, obviously you did really well. I mean, and a lot of us knew you going in. I mean, you were out practicing. I mean, you speak road book. I mean, that's not even a thing. And so are there what you learned last year and how well you did? Are there some stuff that that you've improved upon, or like, okay, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to do this and this better for this year. Like any big changes based on your experience from last year?
Yeah, for sure. After last year, going through the whole race, you really figure out what part of your body needs improvement. Mm-hmm. So like I've been focusing a lot on my body and getting into way better shape, because you spend a lot of hours sitting and a lot of hours standing. The liaisons really mess up your wrists. There's like so many different crazy things that you gotta be ready for. But I think the most important thing is, like, during the race, I wouldn't call it a strategy, but it's just like knowing, like, going through the race once. I think I learned for sure that the trick is to take it easy because so many different things can happen. And I don't think the racing will get any easier. I think it'll be just as hard. I don't think racing will ever get easy, right? But yeah, I think where it'll make it hard on myself is if I decide to go fast or be crazy, because I think stage 11 or 10 or something, I had a crash because I was trying to go fast. So I got that out of the way. Like I learned that the trick is slow and steady wins the race for sure. Like if you don't finish, no good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So really going to focus on that is just a pace and navigating. And obviously, I mean, you proved last year to a lot of people that didn't know that you are an excellent navigator.
Yeah.
So that's good. This is fun.
And for context, Mason is, again, probably being overly humble. When he says slow and steady wins the race, I think that's kind of insanity. For those that know the speed at which they're traveling at the front of the pack in the top 10. But I do think he's right in that it probably takes some guidance from guys like Skyler and Andrew Short in particular, who I think do a really good job, and Ricky too, at reducing risk and going just fast enough, which is, again, insanely fast at the front of the pack, but managing that really well over time. And by the way, the last point I'd make on Mason is that he is the 34th American to finish Dakar Rally. That's the history of the Dakar Rally.
That's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah. So that means next year we'll have like a third more entries finish the Dakar next year.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's growing.
That's like the whole history of racing in 1 year, this year and next year.
It is. And Mason, the question we've been asking and we're really curious about, there's a few changes. Obviously, you're aware of them. 14 stages plus a prologue instead of 12 stages. Longer overall, shorter liaisons. At least that's what they're saying. I hope that's the case.
Same.
Yeah. And then your understanding, Mason, of the A-B route and the number of riders. Have you heard anything about the number of riders entered in the race?
Yes, but I don't think I'm in a position to talk about it. Like, I don't actually know. I don't know the real, you know what I mean?
Got it. Yep.
Like, Bart
that's
tells
fine.
me stuff, but then he also says, don't repeat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're referring to
I
number
shouldn't
of
have said
riders?
what I just said, right? But I'm learning.
No, I mean, and it's true, because the other thing is, you know, with the audience is, all it takes, you know, one person says a number and then it becomes, you know, instantly it's like, oh, well, you know, so-and-so said this and that's, you know, it's law now and that's what it is. So, you know, it's not about this. So we get it. Yeah. No worries.
I heard there were only 10 motorcycles in this race.
Yeah. Yep. 10.
I think like Skyler was saying, it really is about safety. Yeah. I know that if you haven't already signed up, if you haven't already been accepted, you have a really low chance of getting accepted, because for any of the Americans that were waiting for Sonora or something, if they were, it'd be really hard to get in, because obviously most spots are taken, if not all spots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting to see, you know, if in the name of safety, they're reducing the entries and, you know, like we now know that they're reducing the speeds and they're working on it, you know, to do it. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes down.
Yeah.
Was there, my last question is what any of the changes that they made this year, was there one that you were like, oh, this is going to be good, or, oh, this is horrible, why would you guys do this?
So I almost fully forgot about the speed zone thing, you know, the whole race.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really am not excited for, like, of course I want to see how it works out, which is the bonus time thing. Like, I'd love to see how it works, but I don't. Speaking to David Castera, he explained to me the reason for these rule changes is fairness in racing, right? And what the organization's trying to do is to reward the good navigators who are also fast at riding with not having to lose a bunch of time when opening, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's unfair because of a lot of reasons, but giving free time. It's not free time. Like, obviously you earned it, right? But it makes, like, you could go really deep into it.
Yeah.
Like, talk about fairness.
Yeah. And I agree. So, it'll be interesting. But I mean, for you, I remember when we last talked or the conversation had come up, is that you didn't mind so much opening, that you enjoyed it. Is that's still the case? Yeah,
I definitely enjoy it. But it's really hard to stay up front. Like, I feel like a lot of the top guys, they don't want to give you a chance. Like, it's always, usually it's everybody pushing to get in front of the lead rider.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I noticed. For sure, the one stage, stage 4 or whatever, I got a good amount of time to open. Like, tried to push to get in front of me. But, yeah, I think the pushing to get in front is going to get a lot crazier. Like, with the speed limit, it's a race to open, you know, because they're looking for the time bonus, you know. Or it's not the first guy, it's the top 5 or whatever. Okay, well, what about the 6th guy? He finishes in the group, but he doesn't get it. Or, I mean, that's not exactly how it works, obviously, but I'm in the end talking about fairness. I feel like you can't make it fair. Racing isn't supposed to be fair, you know? And I mean, it should be fair. Everybody should have the same rules.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of a crazy rule.
Yeah, I get it. I like what you're saying. It's a little bit dicey when you start. The whole racing thing is all about time. And when you start giving it away, I'm going to use the term arbitrarily. So some rule and, okay, well, we give some seconds here, we give some seconds there. Like, I think it just remains to be seen, like a clear explanation. Okay, guys, this is the system. This is how it's going to work. And then, okay, all right. Yeah, that does seem fair, because otherwise, I mean, the only time right now that I know of in Rally Raid that it's fair to give time back is when it's an assistance where another rider has to stop, but usually there's a hard and fast rule. You can tell when they stopped and you can tell when they started moving, and it's just, it is what it is. Yeah,
for safety and for whatever, it's fair. I agree.
Yeah.
But you know what? Lucky for me, this is only my 2nd year. I feel like rules don't really matter yet. I think I knew a lot of the rules going into last year, but for sure I didn't know all of them. Yeah. So this is just one more rule to learn, and I think I just have to learn it just like everyone else.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's like, it'll definitely make the race more exciting.
Yeah.
Because they're I don't know, I guess hopefully people don't stop as much, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It'll definitely.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited about the minimal amount of liaisons. So the more time without liaison, the better.
Does every Molly Moto rider have a seat cushion?
I'm eating my way into
cushy seats. Big old cushy seats.
Because I think even with the cushy seat, if you're not sitting on air, it's not good. I mean, Kyle McCoy would know, right? But
yeah, Mason's referring to the fact that you really have to take care of your ass during a race at this distance, and I experienced that firsthand. And if you get behind 1%, it's very difficult to catch back up. And Mason's
like 100%, right. Not joking, but needs to be like from the beginning of the race. You need to take care. Like sit down when you have to.
Yep.
Right.
Otherwise, be standing.
Yeah.
And like,
you're saying lube it every day. Is that what you're saying, Mason? That's what we're skirting around, the lube it every day.
Yeah, for sure. And like Noah said, the other Dakar rider that's at my house right now, pretty sick. Great information. He's helping me out with a lot of stuff. He wears it's like cycling shorts, but they're underwear, right? So it has the padding like in the butt.
I was waiting for a break, and I was going to say, well, what about wearing, cycling shorts or whatever underneath that have the padding?
So he says he wears that with the lubrication, but he's not sitting on a stock seat, you know? No. I think no matter what, for me, I need the build.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the audience, this is probably a little bit of a strange path we're going down, but it's incredibly, incredibly important, which Mason brings up, and it can end a rider's race, which sounds kind of crazy, but this is just the distances that you're covering. If you think about it, you're on a bike for 12, 14, sometimes 16 hours a day. For those of us that aren't going as fast as Mason, and it can be really challenging if you don't take care of your back end during that race. But Mason, we'll probably let you go here, and we appreciate your time. And I would just say what you're doing is amazing, especially at your age. We know you're going to continue to do it. And we look forward to training with you in lead up, when we can, to Dakar. And 10 Americans being there is a big deal for all of us because we can look out for each other.
Yeah, I did want to talk about that. Like you said, I guess I'm the 34th, right? But not that long ago, it was hard to get so many people together, to do road books from my point of view. And I feel like through the last couple of years, it has definitely grown a lot in America, thanks to people like Ricky and Skyler and Andrew. Yeah, it's really nice to see everybody get together, and the group and all the talking we get to do. We get to ride with each other all across all the states and have so much fun. And that's what I really enjoy about rally, is riding with other people and making friends and seeing new things. So thank you guys.
Yeah. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, it's been awesome, Mason. I'll see you in Flagstaff in a couple of days, and then we'll see you in Saudi.
Sounds good. See you guys there.
See you.
Awesome. See you, sir.
Adios.
Hasta luego. Enjoy dinner.
Crazy. Well, that's two pros and the guy we all think is going to be the next pro coming down the pipeline, right? I mean, I think we all have expectations that he's going to get picked up somewhere down the pipe.
I have a feeling that he is going to be, it's either going to be on a Husky or it's going to be a gas, I think. But I know he has aspirations to have a Red Bull helmet. So that would mean he's on the orange. So I don't know, but I definitely agree with that. All right. Our next one, we got a little ways to go. Just jumped on. Jacob Argubright.
Hi there.
Howdy.
How's everybody doing?
Well, it's a few days before the episode airs. I won't say what day we're recording, but
just for content.
I know, right? It's doing good. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Just working on the computer here, waiting to make some dinner, and I had a great day.
Nice. So, and an acceptance letter not too long ago.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. The word's going around, like, obviously the bikes are full as of now, which I don't know if that's ever happened, which is really cool. And this year, I've never done Dakar, so I'm not sure how everything goes. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be in. My team manager, Philip, said, like, no worries, like, you're in, you should be fine. And then I got the email along with everybody else. And yeah, now I'm in and I'm stoked.
Nice.
Awesome. Jacob, David here. Give us a rundown of what team you're playing on and how did it all come together for you?
Yeah, so I will be racing with the Dust Co Rally team. It started last year. I forget, I was searching on the internet for something for rally, and their website turned up. And basically I got in contact with Philip. He's the manager, and ended up going to the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge in November. And I like the team. They're cool. And just kind of kept in contact, and made a deal for this year, which is awesome. Cause like I said, I know them, I know what I'm getting. It's a good team, and that's who I'll be riding for.
Nice. And so, I mean, now where are you at? Like, okay, so acceptance letter, that's the hurdle, right? And what's the next big hurdle for you between now and the starting line?
Making funds. I'm still fundraising. I've had a plan and I'm just kind of going along with it, but that'll really be my big challenge. As soon as I raise enough money and everything is paid off and I'm on a plane to Saudi, I will be relieved, like this weight will be off my chest, and then we can go racing.
Nice.
It will be nice when all the bullshit's over and we're on the desert. That is accurate.
I agree. And actually the days are starting to tick by real quick. It's like it's starting to become fall, and I got to start training soon here. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how quick it's already coming.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these both Kyle and David would know that, and how much it feels, or how little time feels now. So, tell me about the training. What are you working on to get ready for the Dakar?
Well, I've just been kind of working out and doing my cardio as of now. Really, my focus has just been fundraising. I'll start picking it up here soon. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to do Baja Rally and Sonora Rally, so I will start doing more road books soon. Mm-hmm. And basically, once I'm done with that in November, I'm going to do a big boot camp. Mm-hmm. And just do a couple weeks of road books. I'm pretty fit. I could always be fitter, but my main challenge is going to be navigation and just the logistics of getting there and just kind of experiencing Dakar for the first time. I know I can handle it, but it's really just training to not make mistakes and just do the best I can.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's going to be the first experience, right? The first ride out there and doing that. Well, you've already been on that side of the planet, right? You've done, was it Morocco?
No, I saw it last year. It was Abu Dhabi. And yes. And that was quite the experience. And that's like basically how I got hooked. And I was like, all right, let's do Dakar. But yeah, I went over there by myself. Like it was definitely an eye-opening, crazy experience. So I have a little bit of a taste of it, but I know, Dakar is much gnarlier. So yeah.
For those that don't know, this is Kyle, Jacob, and I don't think we formally met, but I've heard so much about you, and I know you're an amazing rider. Look forward to riding with you over in Dakar. But those that don't know, I did Abu Dhabi in March this year. It is I think hands down.
Uh-oh. Sounds like we got an internet break.
So it's amazing training, 5-day rally instead of 2 week. It's a 1 week, but really good training. And Jacob went over there and did that last year and did really well.
Yeah. I mean, so if you went over that, now, did you stay in the resort or did you stay in the tent?
In the resort. I'm too old and and lazy to stay in the tent, Jacob.
Yeah. Oh my God. I stayed in the tent and I didn't know what I was getting into. I parked right next to a UTV, and I had an eye cover over my eyes. I had my noise canceling headphones on. I could still hear them. It was so hot that I put a wet towel over me to sleep. But during, it was terrible, but it was actually something super memorable. It was just trying to sleep out in the tent out there.
Well, since I'm doing Malimoto, I probably should have done that. So I'm just going to pay the price for it when I arrive in Saudi.
Yeah, God, you should do tent practice. That's for sure. There should be some tent practice.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely help. I mean, you're going to be there. I mean, you got enough challenges, maintaining everything and yourself. Like, if you can make your sleep that much easier, you're going to do that much better.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, it's called the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. It's a great race. Basically, anybody can enter it. It's just a matter of getting yourself and you're renting a bike and getting there to Abu Dhabi. And there's several companies that do that. One of which Jacob already mentioned, BAS Dakar, same thing. They support it. BAS Dakar, like I talked about earlier. So it's a great entry into the sport.
Oh.
So, Jacob, I know we've been running through all of the Americans on this call and kind of hitting them with some hard, good questions. What's your one advice to somebody that wants to do this race? What should they do first?
Oh, man, that is a doozy. Well, I mean, technically you're supposed to go do a world rally. So I would say start there. Honestly, it helps to go do a world rally because you get somewhat of the experience. It depends what kind of rider you are. If you consider yourself a good rider, then I would just work on navigation. And I would just keep an open mind. Like I mentioned with the sleeping in the tent, it was terrible, but I kept an open mind. I was positive about it. And I realized I could be, stuck at a desk that week. And, I would rather be out in the desert sleeping in the 100-degree heat than, at home. So open mind, be positive, and just use common sense too. Like for road books, trust your gut. So yeah, that's my advice.
Solid.
Nice. And I have my last question for you, and we'll rewind back to the Abu Dhabi. You were on a rally, KTM rally, right out there, the 450 rally.
Yes, sir.
So that versus your 501. Tell me about that ride. What are the differences? What do you like?
So with the rally replica, it's a longer, larger bike. For the little bit of chop, the little bit of gravel, it soaks it up better. It's, I would think it's faster. It felt faster. I mean, the motor's really nice. It's nice and smooth, nice and long. It's really comfy to ride. The seat is bigger than my 501. At first it feels like a large bike, but the more I rode it, the more I got used to it, and I was able to ride it like a small bike, and it does ride really well. But I think the biggest difference is the weight. I think that really helps for long desert. And yeah, my 501, I just have the RMS Sonora tower on it and just the 5-gallon tank, which helps with the weight and stuff. It's just basically a little bit more nimble, but honestly, that rally replica rides like a small bike, and it's really good.
Nice. Which is crazy because I mean they hold a ton of gas, but
yeah, I mean honestly, I didn't notice. I think I was just more like in a mind game that I'm riding this big, huge bike. But like I said, the more you ride it, the smaller it feels. Like you just get used to it.
Nice. I feel like all right. And I think so. Here's the question, because you're a very accomplished rider here in the desert. I watch your riding style and all that stuff, and it's like you're water on the bike. I mean, I've seen the video that's been circulating about you going through this rock section at one of the last races, and it's like every part of the bike is moving, every part of you is moving, like you're all over the place. Would you trade the 501 and what you do now for a rally bike and go full-time rally?
Oh, so does that mean full rally, no desert racing?
When you see the desert, it would be behind a rally tower.
Oh, man, I don't think so. So here's why. I grew up desert racing. I love doing desert. I love doing technical. I don't think I could ever trade it in for the experiences I've had on a normal bike. And I've been, I'm 31 years old, so I've been doing this a while. What I like about the rally, doing rally now is like, it's a really new experience to me. Like, I don't feel like I'm that good at it. So I like, making big gains and learning, but yeah, I don't think I could trade it. And the other thing too is with rally, you're focused on navigating, and obviously the competition is growing and we're pushing more. Mm-hmm. But when you rally, or at least when I do, like I think a little bit more. When I race desert, I'm pretty zoned out, and like you get in more of a flow, and you're just balls to the walls. And I don't think I could trade that feeling.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a very big difference in adrenaline.
Yeah, for sure. And racing in the desert has got me to this point to be able to do rally. So like, I don't think I could trade it in for sure.
Gotcha. But 50-50, we're okay.
Yeah, 50-50 for sure. No, and I love rally. Like, I'm like a kid in a candy store right now because like I said, I don't feel like I'm that good at it. So it's just like, give me all you can get, and anything, everything, like listen to this podcast, making road books, like give me more.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Jim. I just gave away our next guest. Damn, I was saving that because Kyle, David, you guys got another question for Jacob?
No more. I think
we're good, Jacob. We look forward to seeing you, buddy.
Yeah.
If you guys are ever down, I mean, I'm sure, I didn't look at the entry list. I'm sure we're all going to Baja Rally and Sonora, but if anyone is out there that needs books, I can make books. And actually, did you guys have Nathan Rafferty on?
No.
Okay.
Not yet, I will say.
Okay, not yet. Well, I just saw my email and he made a donation to me. So just shout out to Nathan. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Cool, Jacob. Yeah, we'll talk. We'd love more road books.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jacob. Thank you, and good luck. And yeah, we'll be in touch. I actually got to order a couple more T-shirts from you, so help support that, and then we'll get all the links together and everything, so we can get that information out.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, have a good evening.
Bye.
All right, our next guest. We'll need no introduction. Well, I ruined it. I was like rapid fire round, and then I was like, oh yeah. So,
bam.
David, you might know
he's got the technique. Well, I told you had to call him on the 18th minute of this call. It clearly didn't work that way. But,
no, if he logs in the next 3 seconds, he will be at 118 seconds into this episode.
He and I have been racing since, I don't know, since I could walk, maybe, since there was a way to roll to the kitchen. I don't know.
Nice. Uh-oh. Now there's trouble on this line. Jim?
You betcha, Victor. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
Very nice. Where in the world are you right now?
I am at Mount Ararat, Turkey, which is right on the border of Iran.
Nice. Well,
what time is it there?
Yeah. It is 5:30 in the morning.
All right.
At least he's not 2 scotches in, so it should be a good conversation.
Yeah, I got a smile on my face, so it's great.
Yeah, you're talking to you. So I'd like to let you know and inform you that you have won the furthest distance from where this podcast is being recorded at this time.
Excellent.
Nice.
Somebody's got to be halfway around the world.
There you go. Just a little closer to Saudi, right?
Yeah, due south of here.
There you go. Nice. So acceptance letters, everything ready. Are you ready? Are you coming back to the States before the rally?
Probably just to pick up some gear, Victor, because Kyle McCoy won't ship it to me.
Uh-oh.
It costs more to ship there than the gear itself costs.
Oh,
I doubt that. We'll figure that out. But yeah, it's likely to just come get some gear and get all my sponsorship packages together, do a few more interviews.
There you
go. Try to get some training rides in with brother David and whoever else is around.
Very nice.
You're welcome to take up the rear, Jim.
No, yeah, well, I'll show you some dust, David. It'll be fun.
So, if you guys have been listening to the podcast, so this is okay. Switching over for those playing the home game. If you've been listening to the podcast, I always talk about what it's like in the bivouac, and these two are the ones that are always flaming each other over the dumbest things. But it's so much fun hanging out with them, and I mean, it's all good fun. I mean, that's the only one missing is Mike Johnson.
And we have fun with it, that banter is what makes you laugh and smile during the day, and can give you some energy and get you out of a funk if you get into it. So that's why we do it.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean,
my question to you, Jim, is, so you got that, we've been working hard you've been working hard at this for a couple of years, and you've gone through a couple of Dakar challenges. And so you got your stuff on Friday. How'd you feel? What was the first thing you did or said?
It was pretty awesome. Smiled on my face. You know, I've been probably 5 Dakar challenges at this point, and I think I got second in pretty much 3 of them. So, you know, just right on the edge, always there on the edge, and it's kind of good to finally get it all coming together.
Nice. I can imagine. That's when was your first Dakar challenge?
Back when Skyler won it, so that, which was awesome to see. That was the right guy to get out there and go do it. So I'm glad watching him progress all these years has been a lot of fun, and I hope he does a great rally this year and has a bunch of success at it.
Nice. Well, all you guys, because you're part of the American Rally Originals. Come on.
Yeah, we're gonna rock and roll. We'll try to get 5 to the finish for sure. Yes. We'll set a big record.
There it is. And so, what's the thing you're looking? I mean, you do a lot of traveling. Every time I see the random Facebook post from you, you're somewhere different in the world, getting tickets, getting all sorts of stuff. So, what are you looking forward to? The biggest thing you're looking forward to going to Dakar this year or coming year?
You know, part of it for me is going to be the fun and the challenge of getting there. I'm going to try to drive there, and you know, the other part is going to be doing some more training in the Europe area. I think I got a race lined up in Romania in a couple of months, and just keep doing road book training. Mm-hmm. And keeping myself in good shape. Been hiking 4 or 5 kilometers a day or more, and bicycle riding. So it's been good. Seeing these sites makes you hike up and down everywhere, and it's quite enjoyable.
Nice. So, all right.
Hopefully not too many more tickets and getting pulled over, but you know, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd just jump in real quick here, Victor, and say, you know, as a little bit of a newcomer relative to, although I don't feel so new anymore, but, you know, my first race, I was introduced almost immediately to Jim, and Jim and I sort of hit it off. And what I like about Jim is he's always just pretty positive and also mellow. Also, I describe him as mellow. No matter how bad things feel, he just tends to be pretty neutral. And it's kind of what you need out there in a rally whenever things are stressful. And on top of that, he's probably, and I'm going to segue now into the American Rally Originals, right? So we've talked with the 2 factory riders. We've talked with the next to be factory rider, most likely, which is Mason. And we've talked with a national hare and hound champion in Jacob Argubright. And now we're transitioning to those of us that are going over without support, and we're doing it our own way, which is the Malimoto, now called Original by Motul. And what's important about that is obviously you got to have mechanical skills, which I'm the weak link when it comes to that. And Jim is probably our strongest link when it comes to that. So he sort of fills that role in the team. Not that we're going to rely, we need to rely on him, but if something comes down to it, of course I'll go over and ask Jim, and he's probably going to know it far quicker than I would in the race. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that Jim's, you know, he's genuinely a positive and neutral guy, unemotional. He's a mechanic. He's really good at that stuff, and also just travels a lot, like you've already alluded to. So he knows the ins and outs of traveling.
Oh, yeah.
I get a thrill out of solving those problems, Kyle. It gives me that little boost of energy when you can kind of find an alternate plan and successfully, you know, self-rescue yourself or get yourself to the finish. And that, I get jazzed out of that. That's a lot of fun to me. So, you know, I'm hoping that I can, you know, be a helping hand with the team and make sure that everybody makes it to the end. We're gonna run into some of those challenges, and each one is gonna be unique, and it's gonna be fun to sort it all out.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna second what Kyle said, and because It was actually both of you guys, but I mean, with Jim, you guys saved my ass a couple of times at Baja Rally, and there was times I was blowing bubbles. Hey, you guys would come over and just talking to you guys, and it helped. So I appreciate that, even though I wasn't racing with you guys, but it was definitely it was good having you guys there in the bivouac. At times.
Victor, we understand. You were the race director there, and man, you've got a lot of things to coordinate, and sometimes it's good just to have somebody go over and say thank you for doing all the hard work you do, and we do appreciate it, Victor, because without guys like you and keeping interest in the sport and keeping it alive and going out and doing that volunteer time, that makes all the difference for everybody in the rally community.
Good. I'm happy to help.
I'll second that with Victor, leading this charge tonight, because, Scotty, Darren, Michael Graves, everybody that spends the time and energy to put on some of these rallies, the one big thing I've learned is it takes some effort, and you just got to appreciate what they do. It's cool. I've learned this in working with a few of the organizations from a higher level or away from, and not directly involved, but it does take a certain bit of craziness to make it happen, because there is just so many moving pieces to it. And at this point right now, it's Mike Graves is the one that sticks out with the Kota rally, because it's one thing to organize and do it, but then to get all of these governing bodies and all of these regulatory, commissions or whatever on board is just insane for them to actually say, okay, we'll let you do it.
Mike has actually got it coordinated in 2 states, and it's the first permitted at American Rally. And he's got it AMA sanctioned this year as a cross-country rally. That's pretty awesome that he's been able to get that done, and a big kudos for him. I was out there helping coordinate that event last year and did all of the road book verifications prior to the race, and he's got a nice package together, and it's going to go off really well for him this year.
Nice. I think so too. So that's my part, but what's this something I hear about 18? David? Uh-oh. Are we on an internet break? We are on an internet break. I think this may be the first episode where we do an intermission. I got to get some elevator music.
What do you mean by 18? I'm curious.
I don't know. I heard there's a story that's something about 18.
I don't know what that story is either. David's gonna have to fill in the gaps there.
I know. Now we really need to know. So here's what we're gonna do. So he's on an internet break. I'm gonna send the link to Paul Neff so he can jump in and he can listen to the 18 story too. I don't know.
Well, that's awesome.
He just told me he's like 18. And I was, oh yeah, you got to ask something about 18. I don't remember. That was over an hour ago that he said it. So let's see who.
That's perfect. And David's back in, so Paul will join. Yeah, now we're all on the same team. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. All right, David.
Well, almost if you can do it, just to wrap up the night, Victor, why don't you ring Mo in, and then we got the whole ARO team, and we'll.
Let me. Oh. I think we can.
We can't do 6, huh?
Maybe. I don't know. It told me I have a limit of 5, but
let's break it, Victor. That's what we do. We break things.
Yeah, let's break it. Okay, so Paul Neff is now on the line, but before we get to Paul will be in just a second because there's a very important story. Something about 18. We said bring up the number 18.
It's just Jim and I have bench raced for years, and somewhere we went down to do the Baja 1000, and in our efforts of bickering with each other and fighting over who was going to ride 546 miles and who was going to ride 487 miles, we said, screw you. And we both went in and did it Ironman. And then at every pit stop, our entire family pit crew said the first 2 words out of your mouth was, where's my brother? Where's my brother? And, I think the end of the day, there was an 18-minute spread between us for the 1,000-mile race. Wasn't there, Jim?
Well, my memory is more like 15 minutes, and I was on the losing end of that one, unfortunately. But You got it. And we see this stuff at the Dakar every year too, is that, man, you race for 3,000 miles and there's only like 12 minutes between, 10 guys. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of a few minutes above, I know Paul joined us because I haven't asked you, Paul, but what was the spread at the, what was the desert race? The stump jumper? Is that what they called it?
The Desert 100 in Odessa, I think you're talking about.
Yeah. What was the spread between first and second on that race?
I think it was just a minute.
Yeah, just a minute.
That's not very long when all things considering.
And what Paul's not saying is Paul was the overall winner. And by the way, so this is Kyle McCoy again. We've got now to set the stage for you, Paul. We have Victor and ARO on the call, except Mo, and I think that's just a technology limitation. But in any event, now we're down to the American Rally Originals. Paul Neff is the youngest of the American Rally Originals. Also, I would argue, inarguably the fastest, and he is he's also the newest to the sport of rally racing. So he's come on fast, learned the art of navigation, and he's got an amazing mentor. And the first person we had on, which was Ricky, and what David's referring to is Paul won the Washington State's Desert 100, which those of us in the Northwest know extremely well. It's the largest race by far, and he won it resoundingly, which is a big deal, on a rally bike, by the way, with a rally tower. So I think he probably took a little bit more risk than I would have taken, but he won the race. And Paul won't brag, so I'm going to do it for him. He's an former ISDE gold medalist. He has a bright future in this, but I think he's doing it for the fun of it, and he has a goal of finishing Dakar. So now you're kind of getting a sense for the audience of the group here and what makes us up. And just briefly, and I know I'm rambling here, but this is important, briefly, because we haven't talked about this yet. Dakar Rally, I believe this is the 45th year. No American has finished Malimoto, or the now called Original by Motul class. And that's what the five of us are attempting to do, which is to be the first Americans to finish the Malimoto class. So now I'll turn it back over to you, Victor. Sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. So, all right, Paul, the question I've been asking, right? So the letter, where were you? When you got accepted? What was that like? What was that feeling?
Oh, it was, we'd been waiting a few days or a week or more, my whole life pretty much. I never thought I would be in a position to do Dakar. And I got that letter, and it was a huge relief because I have rallied the Northwest behind my program. I have put, so much work into trying to, like Kyle said, catch up in the rally world. I can ride, but there was so much navigation and learning that I have been doing, and it was all riding on this one letter. I've been training for getting this letter, fitness wise, and blah blah blah. And when I got it, it was just like, here we go. All of that stress went away, and then we got all this new stress coming. So it just traded stress, but I was just so thankful and happy and pumped to be part of this crew, this idea, this goal.
Nice. Well,
we were all kind of on pins and needles this year, because they reduced the amount of motorcycle riders that were going to be entered in the race. And I just saw a little notification that the FIM and the ASO also put more emphasis on a stronger caliber rider to be at the event. So that makes us feel proud that we've actually been able to successfully be eligible to go to Dakar this year. It sounds outstanding.
Yeah, I can. I mean, from what we heard earlier, that there's a large amount of didn't make it letters that went out. I mean, it just adds a little bit more, to that, right? Being one of the 100 riders or one of this elite group of riders around the world, it's all your guys' resume. I talked about it earlier. Yeah, it's the whole distinction between pro and not, and who's what class and all that stuff. But I mean, you have to be pro to get to the Dakar. I mean, they don't just take anybody. So you guys have all earned your stripe for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's, I was pretty happy when we got the letters. And then when we all got them, it was like this idea, this goal that Kyle and David and the other guys had of getting all 5 of us in. It was like, this is going to happen. And it just was like, our plans are coming to fruition, our goals. And it was all riding on that letter.
That's awesome. I can only imagine the feeling. And I just want to say really, really quickly, I can confirm that we are at capacity in the chat room at the moment, so I can't get Mo in. I wanted to get him in, but
kick Jim out. He's in Turkey.
Dang, I can feel the love. No, but I mean, seriously. So I'm kind of go back to Paul. Tell me about the training. All right, you're in. That's that hurdle. Are you running more road books? What are you looking to do? Because you have your foot in every discipline.
Yeah, riding wise, I feel pretty well rounded. I ride a lot of trials. I ride a ton of enduro is my background. I ride pro motocross. Like I feel confident there, but rally adds all these elements, the navigation, long days, my fitness was, I felt my fitness was something that needed to be addressed. So I've been working on that since after Sonora pretty much. Mm-hmm. And I got an awesome gym by my house. I go to the gym at 4:30 every morning before work. And so I'll continue that. And as for road books, living in Washington, it's a bit difficult because we don't have like the open space that you might see in California, Nevada, Arizona to run like what I would consider a true road book. So my game plan for, I guess, from now until Dakar is I've been saving my vacation for years at my work. I work a normal day job, just digging holes in the ground. And I just put in an unbelievably large vacation request that got approved, and I am going to head south in October, do the Baja Rally, do Sonora, and spend a week or two in Pahrump, and then do the same late November and spend another 3 weeks or so down in Nevada. So all of this has kind of happened in the last couple of days, but that's where I feel I need to be to boost my road book experience, right? I don't have years of rally experience and navigation, but I have the best people in my corner to catch me up or get me to a point where I'm super confident. And, that's kind of my plan.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of road book, and and that is a pretty gnarly vacation request.
It was, it was great. My work is very supportive, so I'm pumped.
Nice, very nice. Cool. So, all right, who else? Kyle, you got any? ISD Eagle Menace. Any other things we need to know about Paul?
No, I would say that we nailed it. So basically, we're a team of 5, come from different backgrounds. We have speed and Paul, and navigation and speed and David, mechanic and Jim. We have navigation and Mo and myself, and really, I think we're pretty well rounded. We'll support one another, but again, we are a team of 5, which will help one another, but also we have to finish on our own volition, So the audience has heard now. It's expanded to 14 days plus a prologue. The audience has heard about the changes, which are really important. The A/B route, the number of riders, the safety with the air. I guess we haven't talked about the airbag, but everyone wears an airbag now. It's going to be an adventure, and it's going to be starting January 1st and going through January 15th of 2023. So follow us. Look at our our website at American Rally Originals. You can look at us up on social media. We're also going to be pretty prominent at Sonora Rally and the Baja Rally, so look us up there. And we're just missing our last participant, which is Mo.
Yeah, so
I'm actually trying something. Let's see if this works.
Has anybody pumped up Kyle McCoy for?
No, not yet. Let's do it.
The time to get organized and his background about being an Army Ranger and a marathon runner, long distance, and converting over to rally. We spoke about that.
I don't think we've spoken about that.
We just did.
Yes. Sounds like Jim just did it.
That in his dream of Kyle and I have been talking about this for probably 2 or 3 years about the Maui Moto thing, and he did the research on finding out what every American has ever done at the Dakar and realized that there was kind of a gap in the original by Mo tools category and set about a plan. And at least 2 years ago, maybe even right after he finished the Dakar in 2020. So he's a driving force.
Absolutely.
No, I appreciate it, Jim. And so, the reality is, to Jim's point, I finished in 2020 and looked around and thought, man, those guys over there look like they're really suffering in the Maui Moto class. And I thought, that looks great. It scares the shit out of me. And at the same time, it makes me motivated. So that's what I need. And the only thing I'm decent at is organization. So I've sort of put together this band of brothers, and we're going to take this on. But I appreciate that, Jim.
My pleasure, Kyle.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick. We're experimenting technology here, and I'm just curious. Mo, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Victor. I can't hear anybody else.
You can't hear anybody else. Okay. We were trying. I was trying to get everybody. So everybody's talking on the other side. It's just I don't know this program. Well, let me do this. I don't know. Can you guys still hear me over on the other side?
Yeah, I can drop out. I'm 6 a.m. here in Turkey and getting my day started, and why don't you chat with Mo a little bit? And I'm super excited to have Mo there with us. He's another one of those steady eddies where he just grinds it along, and we know that's what it takes to get this. Maui Moto class is just it's a grind, and just got to keep focused and keep working at it.
Nice.
But it's been a pleasure talking with all you guys, and thank you for organizing this, Victor.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for being on, for sure, and thank you for waking up a little earlier.
Yeah, love you, brother. I'll catch up with you later, and hopefully we'll see you stateside before the next round of races in September, October.
Yeah, round up all my gear, David. I need it to go all in one spot.
Yeah, I'll talk to Kyle for you.
Okay, thanks. Work on them. See you guys.
All right,
appreciate everything.
Enjoy.
Bye, Paul.
Bye.
All right, let me tell Mo. I was trying to get fancy there. I was like, oh, look, I can just call him on WhatsApp, and then maybe we can all jump in. But yeah, that didn't work. But
in the old days, I used to just turn 2 headsets on 2 phones in reverse, and that's what we called as a conference call.
Nice. 3, 4, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's what we got to.
Yeah, we didn't mention, and I think Kyle's been throwing a bunch of history out, but I think Jim was also the most senior member of our ARO group, just for age knowledge.
Okay. All right. So he's the chaperone. Are we going to go with that, or?
Well, we have Paul Neff, who's the youngest, and Jim, who's the oldest, and that puts our friend Mo squarely somewhere in the middle, I think.
Yeah, Mo, would you agree with that?
I think I'm in the middle somewhere. Yeah, the one with the most hair for sure.
Damn.
This is true, by the way. Mo wants it.
Shots fired.
You should be on a Pantene Pro V commercial.
I gotta take it where I can get it. So
hey,
I'm taking
yeah,
it.
you know what? Yeah, we're not knocking anything. If it's on the side of the bike, it is what it is. Nice, welcome.
Thank you. Well, good to be on the show.
Yeah, of course. So, okay, first question I've been asking, because I mean this has been. Tell me about the acceptance letter.
I came about a week after I thought it was going to come. So it was the longest week I think I've had in a while, but I was very happy to get it and remember the moment very clearly. WhatsApp started blowing up and I knew something had come through and, talked to some of the boys right away and it was all good news. So very exciting.
Nice. And I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, Kyle's mentioned it a couple times, but I mean, it's all 5 of you guys on the team in the Malamoto team. So from what I understand, they limited the size or the amount of or bikes that could go. And then they also, with that, they have a very small group of Malamoto. And you guys are taking up a chunk of that.
Yeah, I mean, with 10 Americans going and 5 in Malamoto, I mean, we're making up a legitimate percentage of the population of the riders.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, and that goes back to, and it's a good point, Victor, it goes back to 34 Americans that finished the race. So if you think about that for a minute, if 10 of us finish, which I certainly hope that would be the case, then that's, you're looking at 30% of the total in history of Americans to finish will now be added to that number. So pretty cool. And also, we've been having a lot of conversation for Mo and Paul, who joined recently, about the number of riders, which is, most people think it's around 100. We don't know with certainty, but most people think it's around 100, which is reduced for those in the audience from 150. Historically, it's been 35 in Malamoto, and we don't know if that's the case, but we're assuming it's 30 or 35, so we're making up a big percentage of that.
Ace mentioned that it was 150 bikes down to 120, but I don't know the Malamoto number.
Yeah, I think previously they had talked about there was only a group, like a smaller percentage of it, but still, I mean, that's either any which way you slice it. I mean, if you look at it as 100 riders, you guys made the top 100 riders in the world for this, because I mean, I can only imagine the entry list, even as expensive and as big as an undertaking that it is to get to the Dakar. There is still a very long list of people that apply way beyond what they're willing to take.
Yeah, it was interesting from Skyler and maybe Ricky that part of that decision, they think, was driven around the fact that the cars are getting so fast they're catching the bikes these days, and so they've tried to make it for only the top bikes for the faster speeds,
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting. They're doing that. They're talking about cars catching bikes faster, but then they just put a speed limit on the bikes.
I know.
Not that they go over 100 the whole way, but I mean. So Mo, what are you working now? Now that this hurdle is done, what's next for you?
Just trying to figure out the fall schedule and get as much time in on the rally replica as I can, and probably do some training rides on my 701 long range. I was thinking about doing some BDRs and a bunch of Baja loops with a good crew down there. And I mean, just trying to figure out if I'm actually just going to walk away from my job for 4 or 5 months instead of trying to explain to them that I'm not around much, or, but just try to take it all as seriously as I can and, support, be as supportive as I can in my role with the team and see where we end up.
Yeah. And that's actually a good point. I'd been meaning to ask this, but what are do you guys have like roles on the team? Like, it's already just been said, right? There's particular strengths with each member of the team. Do you guys have roles that revolve around that, or?
I don't know how to answer it for everybody else, but I think I am in a good position to be in that support role. Like I don't know how Kyle got so fast in the past year, and I know David and Jim are fast, and Paul's obviously very gifted, and so I don't want to say I'm the weak link, but I can consistently be, reliably behind those guys. So when they need a gas tank or a part or a lever or whatever, I feel like I'm going to be in that role. I don't know if it's the water boy role or the domestique role, but my goal is to get to the finish line and make sure that everybody else gets to the finish line too. So I don't think I'm a high risk rider, but consider myself to be consistent. So
I feel like that it's like for the Dakar, I would take that any day because just of how long and how much you guys are going to go through, having the consistency is going to be the key, making it to the end of each stage. But here in stateside, you have a navigation background, right? Is that?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely am comfortable with a compass and a bearing and vectoring, if you will, and as well as dead reckoning. I'm always afraid, anytime I start trying to teach somebody about that stuff, their eyes glaze over, and I don't feel like it's my communication skills and teaching that aspect of nav are that good. But yeah,
Mo, I feel like you're talking to me directly. I've learned a lot from you on your dead reckoning, but yes, sometimes my eyeglasses glaze over.
Yeah, I prefer a map. I like looking at maps and everything else. I was actually just looking for a map of Saudi Arabia, a paper map, which I don't want to say is rare, but in this day and age, it is a little rare. But yeah, I don't know how I can support the team with my navigational stuff, but maybe it's before racing or after racing. We can talk about stuff. I don't know how that works on the course because I'd have to, literally be with them. And, maybe that happens, but, yeah, navigation is probably something I'm comfortable with. It's fair to say.
Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting. You just said that, and being on the course and being together, it actually gave me goosebumps to see it. Like I could see it on TV right now. It's like you guys all riding together. It just works out on a stage where you're all running together. I mean, that's just huge. I mean, you guys are all signed up for what is the toughest. It's like, I don't know if arguably the toughest class, but in my mind is the toughest class because you guys have to do everything. The mechanic work, you have to do the prep. Everything is on you guys. You don't have somebody to hand the bike off to. So this is huge, for you guys.
Yeah, and that's part of the process as well. I mean, I'm happy to help my teammates in the bivouac at night. I feel like people have different skill sets with the tools, and I'm happy to help, my brothers with anything they need. And, I think that they'll pick up other areas of things that they're good at. But, I think the five of us are going to work together, and that's always been the plan. And people's strengths are going to come out quick, and people are going to be left to, make it happen.
Yeah. Nice. I agree. I think it will be really cool to see that, and see you guys band together and help each other. I'm crossing my fingers that they got a lot of coverage this year for Malamoto, and for what you guys are doing. So
yeah.
So talk to me about Rally Bike. I saw it down at San Quintin.
Yeah, she's a big girl. So stock FE 501, no gas is about 250 pounds, and this rally bike is 309 without gas. Carries 8.4 gallons of gas, and when I get on it, I don't feel like I'm on something that weighs that much. Engineering wise, it's an amazing machine. It feels very planted, and the more time I spend on it, the more comfortable I get. It kind of beat me up at the Yellowstone, Wyoming Tulip Festival. Probably not the right machine for that event, but amazing machine. I feel very lucky to have gotten one, and I owe David a big thank you for that. And it's a real treat. I feel honored, so it's good.
Nice. Yeah, and for the audience, what Mo's referring to is a KTM 450 Rally factory replica. most people call it just 450 RFR, and it's the closest thing to the actual factory bike, obviously, in its name, that KTM uses at Dakar, and also the same bike as Husky that you heard from Skyler, and the same bike as Gas. They're all three effectively the same bike now. It's really difficult to get your hands on these bikes. They make roughly 80 a year. And so that's why Victor's asking this question. It's a really important question. And Mo and myself and David are lucky enough to have one. Paul and I are going to be working together on mine as we train up to be mechanics on the bike.
Nice.
Yeah. The crazy to that too is they don't make them to pass any EPA or customs equation in the States. So getting them imported in is usually a bit of a challenge. We're all hoping that over the next couple of years, as rally gets more prevalent here in the United States, that KTM and Husky will actually bring them in and let them be what they are here too, you know?
As far as I know, there are no rally bikes here stateside. So we'll move on to the next subject.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's, you know, they are, I mean, as far as a travel bike, and Mo, actually you're on the 701 LR and you've put some, you know, we talked at length about that bike and you put a lot of work into that LR. Are they closer together or further apart than you would say the 501 versus the RFR? Oh. Mo, you there? Oh, might have dropped off. Oh,
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He'll be back in a sec. But so the reason, you know, obviously, I mean, you guys know the reason for the question for those playing the home game is, so Mo has a 701 long range that was only made for a couple of years, but it has the bigger tank up front on the Husky. It has the ladder frame still, which is similar to the RFR, the Rally Factory replica bike. But then also he's ridden, I always saw him on the 501. That was his rally bike with the Sonora Tower setup. So I'm just curious to see, you know, which one may feel closer for him, especially after investing a lot of money in the 701. We don't spend money on bikes here. We invest money. Just to be clear.
I'm back, I think.
Yeah, you're back in.
Sorry. The question,
let's hit Mo with a couple more questions.
Nope. All right, yeah, reset. So Mo, it was the question was about the 701 LR versus the RFR versus the 501.
So the RFR carries more gas than any of those bikes, and it's the one that doesn't feel like you're carrying any gas. Like the way the knees sit into the forward tanks and stuff, you don't even know you're on a machine that can carry that much gas. The transmissions are totally different. The gearing is totally different, and the LR is very balanced. It's got two balancers, I think, in it, and it's very smooth down the road. The RFR thumps a little bit harder, and I would say that a 501 that's been modified is probably closer to the RFR than the 701 LR, to be honest.
Okay. And so if you could, like, say, for instance, if I was a real, like, you know, well, I'm a fan of a 701 or the 690, and then using the kits that are available that basically make it, no, I'm not going to say make it an RFR, but get it pretty close. They have the tanks, they have the stuff. You know, could it be done? And you think that would be a good rally bike, you know, for longer travel stuff?
I think we may have lost him again.
Yeah. In and out. Yeah, because I know that, Johnson has the 690s, or a 690 that is kind of one of the older generation rally bikes that I believe is not stateside, if anybody's listening from the EPA. But so I'm, you know, that's kind of a curiosity is which, you know, how those bikes are in comparison. I don't know if I should ditch the 790 and just build a ladder frame 690.
You should. Well, I don't know. Don't get me opinionated on the 690s, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Buy an RFR.
Just buy an RFR.
Yep.
I just got to figure out how to get them.
I think if you guys can hear me again, I was having a chat with one of the boys from KTM and more.
Nope. I think we're having a lot of trouble with Skynet tonight.
Yeah,
we may have lost him, but that's okay. I think we probably should let the American Rally Originals folks go, and we got one more call to make, right, with Ace?
Yeah, we got one more. Ace Nilson. Let me start queuing him up. Let's see here. Yeah, so all of this bike technology. Yeah, here's. Yeah.
Are you still with me?
I'm here.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
So I think if all goes well, Paul's going to get a little experience on the RFR coming up here in the next couple of rounds of races as well. So it'll be good to see him at Sonora and possibly the Baja on the RFR as well.
Yeah, I believe that's the plan. I don't have an RFR. I have a bunch of wore out dirt bikes at this point. And an opportunity to spend some time on an RFR in a race environment, I think, is very valuable for me. I'm much appreciated.
His dirt bikes are worn out, by the way, because Paul rides and races more than any of us. But and he wins. He wins, so that's why they're worn out. So it's a good excuse.
I have a bunch of broken KTMs, old and broken KTMs, and my budget's a little bit tight, you know?
Careful, Paul. People are listening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Paul, we're going to let you go, and I'm going to see you tomorrow to do some trials riding. So I'll see you, my friend, and we appreciate your time today.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. And thank you, Victor, and the whole team. I'll see you tomorrow, Kyle.
All right.
See you, Paul.
God, I got to go to work tomorrow, and you guys are going riding.
I'm getting lucky and taking the day off.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm heading up to Flagstaff to run a road book on Friday, Saturday. I think we're going to actually connect up with Happy Dave and then Mason. And it's impressive. The AMA is recognizing the increase in road book activity. And nice. I talked to them on the COTA because they are looking at the COTA as maybe a potential future FIM event.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we get that.
Oh yeah, let's grow this. Yeah, I had spoken briefly with Eric Kudla, who was the person, or he was at Baja Rally before I was, and we talked about that and then the whole rally thing. And so yeah, it sounds like they're definitely up to help it grow. And speaking about more people entering into the Dakar and getting accepted, Ace.
Good evening, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. You know, it's the middle of the week. We're almost there.
Right on.
Yeah. How about you? How are you doing?
It's been a fantastic day. My day seems to extend into the wee hours in the morning, and then get up before the sun rises and start it all over again. So
rinse and repeat.
Yep. Ace, my question is how much. Ace, my first question is how much of that is work related and how much of that is Dakar rally related?
I would say the percentages in that order: work being 10%, Dakar being 90%.
For those of you
that's
listening,
what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Ace, it's been a fantastic week, not just a day, right?
Oh yeah. It's since Friday at 06:25. It's been pretty much WFO, full gas.
Nice. So, I mean, and speaking of, so you get the letter, you get the acceptance. What's the first thing on your mind? Like, okay, now I got to do this. What is that?
You know, the first notification came from Philippe Dubrowski, who's the manager of Dust Company in Poland, and it came via a WhatsApp text. And Molly, she was walking out the door. She saw my phone buzz, and I'm on call all the time for the hospital. So she'll grab my phone and just see if it's important. And she came over and swatted me. And she's like, "You got in." I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, you got into Dakar." I'm like, no, that's not the case. That can't be it. And because we had just gone through this the previous week with kind of a vague kind of cryptic email that everybody got, so it was like they referred to you as a competitor, and there was all kinds of signs that you got in, but then there was this one paragraph that says, and we'll be letting you know in August, we'll be doing additional follow-up in August. So it was like, that's not it. So talked to Philippe by phone, and he said, yeah, we'll probably get something in middle to late August and know for sure. So I really didn't believe it at first. And then I texted him. He says, yeah, congratulations, you're in. He confirmed it. I'm like, I still didn't believe it. I'm like, not until I see something from Dakar official. And so I opened my email, and it was about 6:35. And at 6:30, an email had come through from Dakar, and it was the official notification. I just lost my mind. I got really kind of overwhelmed emotionally. I started crying. I'm like, hey, toughen up, man. You gotta get with the program here. So
here comes the rest of the fun.
Yeah, it was, I really didn't expect it, but this has been such a long road. I set this goal 4 years ago and have been slowly picking away at it. And then the pandemic hit and the hospital work went nuts. And it was like, is this really going to happen? So it's, this is a dream that's starting, we're one step closer. And each step along the way is, get the application in. That was a feat in itself. Kyle, David, they can tell you about it. It's not an easy process. So to get accepted on the first try and not be put into a provisional status or something like that, I couldn't be more stoked.
Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, that's been a reoccurring theme for this episode and talking of, the big deal that it is, right? We have 10 now. I'm hearing 11 riders that are running under the U.S. flag, and it's the acceptance rate and having that many people, and then also hearing that they're cutting back the number of entries for the motorcycle teams. So I mean, it has to be an even better feeling, knowing that now it's a smaller group, it's a more precise group, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's conversation I had with Philippe probably, 2-3 weeks ago, was that they were reducing the number of riders from 170 to 120. And then I've heard rumors of 100. So I don't have a final number of what they settled on, but
it's funny.
Stoked.
Funny, Ace. For the audience, I was texting with Ace just prior to him coming on, asking him, do you know how many riders are in? And this is what we've been talking about, Ace, and that over and over with all the other folks that are in, and nobody really knows. But I would say the general consensus is that the numbers are down from 150 to at least 120, possibly 100.
Okay.
And this is a big deal. And I think it's a kind of a seismic shift. So that I keep coming back to this because I did it in 2020, supported, and there was 150 at the starting line. And when you reduce it by a third, it has a big impact on the race. So we're excited to know about that. That's why we keep hounding on this, Ace, and that's why we're asking. And I would just say, from a guy that's a little newer to riding than Ace runs a touring business, which you should look up. It's a really cool High Desert Adventures out of Oregon. They do a lot of stuff in Mexico. And I'm, not incentivized to say this at all. I'm just telling you because I've heard good things. And he is, as he mentioned, works in the hospitals, and he's an amazing rider. And I met him early on in riding in the Baja. And Ace is a guy who's always extremely positive, has a great outlook on riding. And again, back to my statement earlier about some of the other folks, he's neutral, unemotional, never gets really emotional, which in my view is really important when it comes to racing your bike, the distances we'll be traveling. So now the audience has heard from the two factory guys, Mason, who's kind of the next factory guy, really a couple of pros in Jacob and Paul Neff, and then the five of us on the team that are Malimoto and Ace also, and different support crews. Ace is using Dust as he described, and also Jacob is. We're using Bass Dakar. So hopefully this is giving a little bit of insight into the race. But we appreciate you joining, Ace. And I'm just thinking here, and I was thinking about this when Victor and David mentioned it to me. I think it's, again, we have the most Americans ever entered, and we've got an amazing podcast that Victor's doing all this work for, and it just keeps growing the sport. So thank you for what you're doing as well, Victor.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to help, and I get to talk to a bunch of people and have good times, and yeah, it's all good fun.
So Kyle, real quick before I sign off, the reduction of the riders, I've heard some explanation that it's because of the route that we're taking from the coast of the Red Sea to the opposite coast of Daman, and the trek that they intend to take us through the empty quarter. Are you of the feeling or of the same opinion that they're reducing the amount of riders to accommodate or account for the difficulty that this Dakar is projected to be?
It's a good question, and I don't know. I have two views on this. One is what Skyler said earlier in the podcast, which is it's for safety, and I do know that obviously they're trying to improve safety year in and year out, which is good. And his notion was he heard they're trying to improve safety and by reducing numbers. But I always think about, this is an economic machine, let's be honest, ASO, and you're giving up 50 rider slots that are paying an entry fee. I'm immediately a little bit suspicious, and that's just in my nature. So I'm not sure what to think, but what I'm really impressed either way. I think it's probably the fact that we'll see, if I had to guess, we'll see 120 at most enter as opposed to 150 as is common in years past. And it's pretty impressive to focus on safety too. So hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think so. I think this year is there's going to be a lot of challenges with the timing for the guys opening stages and the top riders up there, or in the standings, speed limits, alternate routes, 2 extra days. There's a lot of moving pieces that weren't, or new changes that weren't a part of last year's. So I'm really curious to see how this year shakes down, and with a smaller group, I think that'll be cool. So.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Victor. And that maybe my last point for the night is that, if you think about it, over 45 years, I look at the history of the distance, and the distance alone that has changed so dramatically over time that while it's changing and each of these individual changes feel big to us competitors, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of it. For example, the Paris to Dakar rally, it's how it was originally called, actually went Paris to South Africa and back to Paris at one point, which is an insane distance. It would be like, I think 4 times the distance of what we're about to do in January. So it's just an example of how this thing has evolved so much, and obviously different continents over time. And that, to me, by the way, is what makes it the most exciting, right? It makes it the most interesting. And as Mason said earlier, it's at some level, it's just about the adventure, and you really have to just enjoy the adventure and focus on finishing first and then on your place.
Yeah. Any race of this size, and it's, you compare it to any of the, the score races, right? San Felipe, the Baja, the 500, the 1,000, any of the rallies, any of that stuff. It's all about the challenge and making it to the line, and then where you land.
To Ace's point, it's one of the, when I watch all of the series and the shows and you talk about the emotional swings of this race, it's amazing how many guys I see cry on TV at the Dakar. It's just and some of it's just from the sheer exhaustion, the experience of finishing the race. It's amazing.
I've seen that on the podium. I have seen that on the videos and the pictures. And I will say I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys cry on stage. We'll have to do some screenshots, and then we'll share those. No, but I mean, honestly, I mean, that is the, you know, for the audience watching, you know, for us over here while you guys are over there doing it, I mean, that's going to be cool. And to see, you know, if you guys cross paths and ride together on stages and to see all of that kind of stuff, I mean, it's just going to be really cool. And it's a very big indicator. You guys are leading the charge into Dakar this, you know, for 2023 and leading what is going to be in 2024, a bigger group.
Ace, any words of inspiration or wisdom for 11 people going across the finish line, finish up our night?
Oh man, you know, I'm a rookie here, full on amateur going into this. And so I'm trying to just be very methodical and systematic about the approach and my training leading up to this. And, I've got some really good people in my corner that are helping me along. I'm probably in the best shape that I've been in 25 years. So, you know, I'm 51 now. So I'll be taking my Geritol before each day. I'll be following you, Dave. I think you're the only one that's a little bit, you and Jim are maybe the only ones that are older than I am. So, you know, the goal is to finish, and there is no quit. And I will do whatever it takes to get there. I'm actually reading, maybe Kyle knows about this book, but there's a book out by a former Navy SEAL called Enjoy the Suck, Embrace the Suck. I can't remember the exact title, but it's something like that. And it's all about the mental fortitude needed to do, well, for him, it was Hell Week, you know, qualifying to be a Navy SEAL. For us, it's going to be 2 weeks of hell, and the mental fatigue that you encounter in that, you must be prepared for it. And there's a few ways to go about that, but you got to figure it out before you get there. So, you know, if day one's a rough day and you're out there on the course for 18, 20 hours, you got 3 hours of sleep to get up and make it right the next day. And you got to figure out how to do that. So that's kind of the focus of my preparation, aside from all the stuff that I'm doing to be physically ready for the event. Being mentally tough, I think, is going to be the key.
True enough.
I would agree with that. And I'm not even going. One of these days I'll go as press.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it, Ace. And we appreciate your time. And again, 10 of us. And by the way, I think Ace mentioned, Victor mentioned 11. And that's because we think we found out during the course of this podcast that from Skyler that Peter Vilcek is going to compete in the Dakar. He's been accepted, and he's a dual citizen. For those that follow the history, he tends to ride. He lives in South Carolina. He tends to ride for the Czech flag. But this year, he's apparently, according to Skyler, riding for the U.S. So that would make an unprecedented 11 entries from the U.S.
Very cool.
So, yeah. So keep your eyes out for that. But we definitely appreciate your time, Ace, and I'll turn it back to you, Victor.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it, awesome. Ace, and good luck. And we're absolutely going to be in touch to document the journey.
Right on.
Awesome. Enjoy. Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. See ya.
See you, buddy.
Nice. Okay.
We did it.
We did it.
Wow.
All 10 with Skynet issues and all. So not bad, but I'm excited. And honestly, you guys are doing, you know, banding together and as a team and doing everything together. I think that's going to be huge. I can't wait for the stories and to watch you guys on TV and doing all of this stuff and the next training event. You know, I really hope that's something that you guys continue to do. Because I think it was huge. I really enjoyed the time down there in San Quintin, and watching you guys work with new people getting into the sport and doing that stuff was absolutely huge. So
yeah, Scott did a great job with the Baja Rally, and you know, hopefully if you're listening to this, you're in the network, and we'll see you at Cota, we'll see you at Baja, we'll see you at Sonora, and we'll see you. So it's good that you're coming out riding.
Yep, absolutely. And it's just the road book. It won't bite.
I like that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah. I got another. We came up with another tagline when I was talking to Willem Evan, but I'll full disclosure, since we're recording episodes out of order, I don't want to say it yet, but it'll be. We're changing the tagline at the end. So.
Well, you know me, it's and I stole this one from Kyle, but it's all about constant forward momentum for me every day.
Yeah. That's I mean, that's the only way to do it. That is very true. So, all right, Kyle, any parting words?
No, I appreciate your time, Victory. What I guess the last point I would make maybe for parting words would be this podcast. If you think about it, there's not a lot of ways to follow this sport, and Victor pours his time and energy into this. So appreciate your time doing this and all of that. And it's just growing the sport, and that you're a lot of the reason that we're up to 11 Americans here doing this.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you. Nice. David? Skynet issues?
Of course, he gets the Skynet in the last minute.
Right. Oh, there he is. Is he back? No. All right. I don't know. I think he might have jumped off, but that is okay. It has been, I think we're going down for the longest Dakar rally coming up in January, and this is the longest podcast episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast.
They'll be duly informed with all facts.
Yeah, exactly. So nice. David, you back?
I am. I clearly living in northern Phoenix for a short period of time has Wi-Fi issues, but awesome. You took this much time to talk to all of us about this. I can't even tell you how excited I am to get over to Saudi and sit around with my compadres, if that's the right word, and do some bench racing and everybody sit there at the finish. So
absolutely,
let's get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys do that. And I appreciate you guys with the journey. I was telling you, it's the longest episode so far, so digging it.
All right, thanks,
boys.
guys.
Awesome, guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See you.
See ya. That is a wrap. All right. 10 of the American riders, and as we found out, there is an 11th rider that we're going to have to be reaching out to just to talk a little bit about them. I know who they're talking about. I was not aware of it, but we'll figure this out. But they're going to listen to this on Sunday, and when they hear it, and I really want to say thank you to everybody that jumped in. Ricky, Skyler, Mason, Ace, David, Kyle, Mo, Paul, everybody that jumped in, Jim, everybody. I really appreciate you guys taking some time out of you, wherever you were in the world, to talk a little bit about rally and getting accepted into the Dakar Rally for 2023. So again, I'm super excited to see how this goes down. Remember, guys, don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You're going to need to split this episode up into a few sittings. Sorry, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. Hopefully you guys share it. Let me know what your favorite part was. What did you guys learn about the Dakar Rally coming in 2023? I want to hear about it and find out a little bit more what you guys are thinking. And as always, if you got any questions about getting into the sport of rally or adventure bikes, any of that kind of stuff, let me know. Reach out to me. I'm happy to point you into the right direction if I don't know the answer. So anyway, with that being said, shiny side up and on the gas. All right, that is a wrap for the Chasing Waypoints podcast this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you heard. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of others. Also, follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook under Chasing Waypoints, Instagram Chasing Waypoints _official, and of course, the YouTube under Chasing Waypoints. Hope everybody has a good week. We will see you guys for the next episode. Remember, shiny side up, and don't forget to tag us. We want to see where you guys are riding and what you guys are up to. Have a great week.